Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 40 of the Hall of Gamers podcast. This week, as always, I'm joined by the man, the myth, the legend, Cameron.
Well, yeah, I guess.
Yeah. That's why it's the myth and the legend, because people aren't really sure, but they do guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's a lot of tall tales. Speaking of tall, we also have Charlotte.
Hello.
You've got legs, right? They're long.
Where's this conversation
Yes.
heading?
I'm
I
really
haven't figured it
confused
out.
by this.
I haven't figured it out. You know.
He's going somewhere, but he's not sure where he's going.
Is this
Probably,
what the kids
like,
refer to
digging
as
a hole.
flirting?
No, this is well. I
Okay.
mean, look, as much as I love you guys, I am very much a couple of women kind of guy. You know, like I don't, let's be reasonable. And for the record, my fiance did just post in the chat, so she is watching. And I'm probably gonna have something thrown at me very, very shortly.
Always watching.
May
But
the
yeah,
odds be
it's not-
ever in your favor.
Yeah, well, right, exactly. But yeah, hello everyone. We're back again as we always are with episode 40. This week we're gonna talk about PlayStation. I know. It's shocking to me too, and we don't even have CJ here to force us into it. We're also going to talk about some really, really bad French. And then, some stuff about Star Wars, which, again, Cameron doesn't give a fuck about, but I'm very, very excited
Look,
on.
I give a fuck
Yeah.
about the games. The amount of people that are telling me about Kenobi at the moment, and I'm just like, I don't give a shit.
Okay.
You know
before we
what?
get in-
Why?
It went. Listen,
Kind
when
of okay, but
okay,
also
okay.
I'm disappointed in you, Cameron.
tell me when Cal shows up in the shows, yeah.
Right, well, we'll see, right? That's, again,
I mean,
depends on what happens.
if he shows up in the TV shows, then I'll be like, okay, I'll watch this. I'll watch the series.
I mean, look, I was going to say, like, obviously they're not going to do that because that'll limit what they could do in the video game. But fucking, I mean, if you've seen The Mandalorian, who the fuck knows is going to show up, right? So,
No
anyway,
clue. Could be anything.
You know what? Give me Starkiller, yeah, in any of it, and then
holy
I will.
Shit. I mean,
It's not gonna happen. It's never
well,
gonna happen.
I mean, we'll get into it when we talk about Jedi Survivor, but
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, everyone's got their fan theories. Which that's my favorite thing about Star Wars is that fucking everyone can theorize whatever the fuck they want for ages because there's so much shit that people just pull out of their ass.
And
or things they
There's
can refer to.
anything that could come out.
And
like,
George Lucas will wreck on it.
Well, yeah, exactly. That's unfortunately yes, but it is what it is, right? Thanks, Disney. To be fair, no, I'm not going to get into it. I'm getting sidetracked already. I just will say that I did see a post on Reddit. Someone was saying that the dialogue in the new Kenobi show is too cheesy, and the
too cheesy.
right, and I think that the response to it was, "My brother in Christ, my brother in the Force, you are watching Star Wars,
You're watching Star Wars. What
and
the
you're
fuck do you
complaining
want?
about it being cheesy. Are you fucking kidding me?"
The only thing that upsets me, and this is why I'm like, I did not even know that this was a thing at all until I saw the news articles about it. The racist comments that have been made about one of the actresses. I'm like, she's
Yeah.
amazing in the show, and I've watched the first 3 episodes, and I fucking love it. Like, I'm so pleased with where they're going with it so far. But I didn't even think that that was something that would even be an issue, and I don't understand why it's an issue.
They
I
did
don't get it.
They did the
At all.
same thing with what's the actor's name? Back during.
Do you talk about John Boyega?
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
it.
Yeah, Force
blanked on the
Awakens,
name.
yeah. Look, to be fair, I mean, I have my opinions about the sequel trilogy, right, and how Disney basically mishandled it as much as they possibly could. Man, Rise of Skywalker was an absolute fucking abomination. I mean, yeah, at least the prequel stuff had something in there. At least it had
Yeah.
Duel of the Fates. Fuck, I love
I
it.
just don't understand why the choice of actor or actress is an issue. Like, that shouldn't be the issue here. I mean, there's fucking aliens. What the fuck do you want?
Yeah, I don't. Yeah,
I don't get it, but that's fine. It is what it is. It is a good show. I do recommend it. Yes.
yeah. So
I
I'm
am
gonna
not
watch
swayed.
it. I'm gonna watch it when all the episodes are out. But I still
Yeah,
need to catch
binge
up
it.
I need to catch up on Book of Boba Fett first anyway.
Fair.
Because Temuera Morrison is great, and he seems like he's having the time of his fucking life getting to be back in Star Wars. He's like seeing him at the Star Wars celebration, man. He looked like the happiest person alive.
Do you know what I'd love? Is
Mm.
if they just, like, really fucked it up and went, why don't you cook the man some eggs?
No, that would be very fun. Okay, that would be really fun. Now I'm suddenly thinking
They
of
would
that.
never do
idea what's
that.
going on
No,
here.
fuck. No,
Don't
okay,
worry,
so
it's
yeah,
No, I don't need an
it's-
explanation.
No, it's fine. Don't worry about it. It's yeah,
it's a very niche Kiwi joke.
joke is maybe even too far of putting it.
Wow.
Although to be fair, that Moon TV bit that they did, where the cooking segment where they did we're going down rabbit holes of Kiwi humor here.
Let's move on because I think we've got we've got song of the week. Wait, song of the week.
Yes, I did do a song of the week. So yeah, we also do the show live on Twitch, so you can come see us. Hall of Gamers Pod is the place to come hang out with us, and we chat and answer questions and just deal with shit posts and ban spam bots, the usual kind of stuff. So you can come say hi.
Followers.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, oh wow, yeah, thanks. That sounds super legit. I'll definitely click on this link.
Or just create pictures of some of the podcasts. And post them on the Discord. and then you find out later on that Robbie found the app that was used to create with the filter.
Oh yeah, right. That's so funny.
Not sus at all.
Look at me, like impressing these women online.
I thought it was hilarious. I knew there was a filter involved the whole fucking time because I use those fucking apps. Like, what the fuck you want, dude? Like,
I didn't have the energy to even look it up to be like, whatever.
It's pretty funny.
Oh, and Odrin has joined us in the chat. He's finally awake for an episode. We greatly appreciate it, mate. Thank you for joining us. But yes, I think now is time to transition us into a song of the week that I'm actually quite proud of. So Cameron, take it away. Nothing to play on my TV or installed on my PC. Need to meet my achievement needs. Something I can play for fun while scrolling on my phone, bitching about how hard my games can be. I'd like to get some easy achieves so that I can keep up my streak. I think I might just lose my mind. If I could find a game or two, not having a contest left to lose, I think I'd give it up and fall. I would fall. Lifestyles of the young achievers. They're always competing, always competing. If scoring is such a problem, well, they've got backlogs. Think they should play some.
All right, this is like the easiest one for me.
I mean, I fucking hope so.
If I didn't know the band to this, I think I'd be shocked.
Yeah, that's fair.
You know what? The first thought I had was like after that song, I'm just like, they have really not put out any decent music since that album.
And I went and looked because I happened to be, obviously I pull these all up on Spotify and listen to them as I'm singing them. So I went and looked up Good Charlotte.
Yep.
No, it's been, they've got a few songs in there. I think we already did Anthem for Song of the Week. So now we just need to do, what's the other song that they did?
Look, I didn't want to interrupt you there, but there's no such thing.
What?
Take that as you want. Yeah, cool.
I'm not touching that. I am not touching that. But okay, so we know what the song is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Lifestyles of the Achievement Hunters or something. I don't know.
Lifestyles of the Rich and Famous.
Yes.
By Good Charlotte. Yes. So the next, I guess I need to do I Want to Live and The River, I guess, are the next two. I'll try and work those in there somewhere because the good thing about Good Charlotte is that they're just basic enough for me to be able to sing with relative ease.
They're like Blink 182, yeah?
Yeah,
it's
well,
like just a few simple chords.
I was between this and All the Small Things when I was trying to work out what sounded best, and this is just kind of what worked out.
I mean, we could get into a whole conversation of like early 2000s, like that kind of genre music. And I could easily just say Blink-182 has the easiest guitar progression of any artist there is. And the only thing that's holding that band up is Travis Barker on the drums.
Of course, yeah. But that's why they put him in Guitar Hero World Tour, because they were like, we don't really need the rest of the band. Travis Barker is where it's at. But no, good job, guys. Well done on guessing the song of the week. We don't have a guest this week. So we're going to mix things up a little bit and go into a question. Cameron, what's our question for this week?
All right. So our question is from Questionnaire Extraordinaire Isaac, once again. I just want to start off the podcast to say, Isaac, your questions will always be appreciated here.
We love them.
We love them. We are a podcast that celebrates our guests, not belittles them. Not
not like some other podcast that won't be named.
Yeah, not like some other podcast that also has two males and a female host. I tuned in for like an hour of it. I'm just like, leave Isaac alone.
They were pretty harsh. Pretty harsh.
I'm just like, first question in, just like ripped apart. I was like, oof. Oof.
And they're supposed to be the nice ones, right? That's the thing. Is that
I thought we were the assholes.
Yeah, that's what I thought too, right?
Which is kind of hilarious that the tables have turned.
I think, we guest on their show, they guest over here, and suddenly,
have we rubbed off on them?
Yeah, I was gonna say it's Freaky Friday in here,
Yeah. Jeez.
I'm definitely Simone. But
yeah, of course.
Who am I?
Oh, I'm Lee. You're Kyle.
Yeah, Kyle. You're
easy, easy, 100%.
At least I'm a lot younger than what I look. I'll take that.
Yeah,
true.
I'll take that. Anyway,
so you want to ask this question that Isaac sent in to us?
Hey guys, so sometimes games ask you to put in a name for a character. I usually go with something silly or stupid. How about you? I know Matt named his baby Toucan. Yeah, I feel like that was peer pressure though.
A little bit.
So are there two other examples of funny or silly names that you've used, or do you use something else? Thanks for the show, Isaac. Depends, yeah? I think the caveat first off is if there is an achievement in a game for naming a character a certain thing, that always needs to be addressed first.
Of course, right? But let's put that aside, right?
Yeah, I want to say it. Yeah. Just typically I will go with Shadow. Which is, one of the most common gamer tag kind of things there is.
Yeah.
But the amount of times that people call me Shadow, it's, otherwise I'll just use my normal name, Cameron, or it's either usually Shadow or Cameron. I'm not really interested in that regard. Unless I'm playing online, I want to get a laugh.
Sure. Yeah.
But
yeah, it depends on the game. Because, of course, if we're playing Jackbox, it's a completely different story. But I stick with the same name every time I play Jackbox. I'm always Trash Panda. Like always. I'm just Trash Panda on
I
that.
try to cycle through a few names, each less funnier than the last.
We could be Boobs one session.
Yeah, Boobs could be there. Master Debater was
oh yeah, that's right.
That's pretty good. Not Cameron, I think was one.
Yeah, not Cameron.
Yeah, usually a pretty
someone
safe
else
bet.
did Neomaster.
Yeah, that's So people usually do. Actually, most of the time it's riffs on my name. Actually, to be fair.
Yeah, there was that one time that we all did Neo something.
Yeah. As for names for myself, I mean, I usually just go with Matt for most things. Even in a fantasy setting, I think it's funny to have people with fantasy Latin names and then Matt. That's funny to me. It kind of depends. If I'm playing as myself, insert character, I usually just go with Matt. Otherwise, I go with the default name that they give me. Especially if it's a JRPG or whatever. It's if the character's already going to be called Edge Maverick, which is the most amazing name of all time. That's Star Ocean for you. He's also a real whiny bitch too. So he's not anyway. So I was like, okay, cool, Edge Maverick, whatever. I'll leave it. However, I will give a special shout out, like Isaac mentioned. I did name my child Toucan on the on my 2 million stream. Gave it blue hair, put it in the exhaust of a car, that kind of stuff. And for my 1.9
sorry, we should probably not deliberately.
No, I mean, it wasn't a real baby. It's fine. For my 1.9 million, I did name because I played Horse Club Adventures, and I was not having a good time of it. So I decided to name the petite blonde that I was playing as was called Trash. Yeah. I decided to name my horse Garbage, which is very funny when the instruction basically said go and mount Garbage. They just absolutely tickled me. But again, I don't usually do the funny names for stuff because it's kind of distracting. There's a YouTuber I watch, Connor, Sea-Dog VA, who basically for most of his Monkey. like he was playing through, I think it was like the new
He
Pokemon
was doing
Arceus.
Pokemon.
I was just
Pokemon,
going to
right?
make a comment on Pokemon because there's so many memes that come up with like somebody changing their name to something wrong.
Yeah, exactly. That's a
Changing
perfect
all
one.
of their names.
Yeah,
and
so
he was
he's-
like, one of them he called like uncooked KFC.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
I mean,
every time he
not the Pokemon names though. I mean, like as in the
Yeah,
actual
no, this was
character
he
names.
was renaming the
Okay.
Pokemon names.
Yeah, he was
which
doing
is-
he was doing a
Jeez.
Nuzlocke, so he just named them weird stuff from the chat.
Yeah.
But he was
so he
playing
didn't have to feel bad about them dying or whatever. Yeah.
And one of them, and so the latest one and the Legends Arceus that he just played, he
Yes.
named his character D's Nuts, which was very funny. Like to be like again, it's so fucking juvenile, but every time you just see something coming up with these nuts needs this, so it's like hey,
Sounds like something
it's
I
D's
would
nuts.
do.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Except I don't do that.
Only the highest
you
form
just-
of humor on this podcast.
Mhm.
Absolutely, as you can probably tell.
See,
We've
I always
managed
just go with Char. I'm really boring.
I mean, I go with Matt. It's like it's kind of
Because usually you can't have like a long name. So I'm like, well, I don't really want to use my whole name. I can't usually use Charmander because it's usually too long. So I go with either Char or I used to when I was younger, I go with Tiki Babe. I thought that was great. I thought, 16-year-old me was like, yeah, Tiki Babe. That's such a cool name.
And then the Nazis brought out the tiki torches in America, and you're like, I need to change that.
dear.
Maybe just don't need that
Thanks,
kind of
Matt.
association.
Thank you, Matt.
Wow.
You're welcome.
The only thing I was going to touch base further to this question is it did descend into Shadowed Sly commenting about his name.
Oh yeah, but
Oh,
They're
yeah.
just like
he's,
how he
he's a
trolls
fucking
people.
asshole.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, like, who wouldn't though? Like, really?
Oh, to be fair, he is very, very good at FPS. That man is
Like real good.
very talented. He dragged our asses through many a game.
Like,
Which we
I
greatly
think I'm
appreciate.
decent as an FPS player, but like, he's like fucking.
He's like next
so
level.
much
He is
better.
cracked as fuck. He just the man. The man. It's like some of that stuff with like when he was was it on Carrier where he was the last one with the crossbow and just doing like watching his screen because all three of us are dead and we're just watching him fucking jump around. It's like a goddamn Matrix. It was very, very impressive.
Definitely has skills.
But yeah, hopefully that answers your question, Isaac. We decided to sort of get the questions up front this week because we always feel bad when they're left towards the end and sometimes we don't have time for them. And we do greatly appreciate you sending them in. And anyone else who wants to send in questions, again, we love hearing ourselves talk. So go for it.
And our question for Isaac for the week is: do you enjoy having the questions at the start or the end of the podcast?
Yeah, because we'd like that feedback too.
Absolutely.
And Isaac actually gives feedback, unlike
He does,
99%
he does,
of the
which is-
audience.
Which is
He
fine.
does.
Yeah, it's fine. I mean, maybe I should start sending him
All right.
Matt's camera in action.
Lefty has a question.
Lefty does. Okay, yes, Lefty. Please let me know your question. I would love to hear it.
Yeah, we'll answer it.
Waits for a joke about Black Matt.
Yeah, yep. That's right. I'm hovering over the ban button.
Why won't my baby
Aw.
sleep?
Dad Lefty.
Well, I mean, there's a lot of reasons.
Did you name your child Toucan?
Yeah. But what color is the baby's hair?
Yeah.
Have you changed it 4 or more times?
Did you try walking it and then not move away from
All right, I'll let the non-parents just answer the question.
Hey, look. As someone who had extensive experience of being a child at one point, I'm sure Charlotte
Wait, you're a
knows.
child?
He's a-
I was never a child. I grew up at
I was literally
4.
just about to say Charlotte will easily answer this question, but that's fine. You can just ruin my fucking joke about me never being a child. Whatever, that's fine. Just
Neither
storm
of
right
us
into it.
were, so shut the fuck up.
I don't know. Cameron, you've
Depends. Why won't your baby sleep? I would just say try nursing it for a bit. Like, is it hungry? Is it like babies didn't know objective permanence, and that includes their own existence. So sleep scares them because they don't know they'll actually wake up. Lols. I've been pacing the hall for the last 2 hours. You know what?
No.
Okay.
No.
No.
Take
No.
a drive around the block.
Let me
Okay,
finish.
Bro, drive.
Let me finish.
leave the baby and drive away.
No. In all honesty, Lefty, I can't remember how old Lefty's gift is, but like, if it really gets that bad, like, I know it probably isn't the best thing, but go for a drive. Like, go, put the baby in the back, back, go for a drive. it always worked with Percy. 10-15 minute drive, go back.
It'll put
she
them
was
to
fine.
sleep.
It'll put them to sleep. Other than that, I found with Persephone, like especially when she was really younger, and I don't know about this because I'm pretty sure they can't see they can only see certain shapes in that. I used to play like Forza Horizon 4.
I mean, that would put me to sleep, so sure.
I used to cradle her, play Forza, and she would just watch.
So apparently I used to fall asleep in the backpack while my dad would vacuum.
Oh.
Oh.
That's cute.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why I have insomnia.
Lefty, best bit of advice.
There are so many jokes there. Alison suggests putting bourbon on the pacifier. Yep, I mean that'll probably do something.
We do not condone this behavior.
Yeah, it's apparent I'm not condoning that. Fuck.
I mean, I didn't say it. She just said it. Look, I don't control, the chat. That's fine.
So don't repeat the chat then, because we'll get in trouble.
Oh, it's fine. Whatever.
He's just catering to his missus. That's all it is.
Yeah, exactly.
I would say Lefty though, like definitely do keep track of like the like it's hard, yeah, because with a young child, a lot of stuff is like incredibly restless nights, but when you find certain days better than others, I would take notes on like what you've done that day. If that makes sense.
Research.
And like just doing a little bit of self-reflection on like what you've done in a certain day that might be working. Just had to have fun since I'm up while the pod's going. Yeah.
Yay! Well, we're happy to see you, Dad, Lefty.
Yeah. And if all else fails, you can always read them the Samuel L. Jackson audiobook of "Go the Fuck to Sleep."
That works.
Like that
or wait, what's the best game that you could play? Just think of what's the best game that would put your child to sleep while you played it.
Forza Horizon.
I would say, when a child's incredibly young, something that is, because what is it, like 3 months is like they can only see like shapes in general. Mm-hmm. I would pick something like that's vibrant, colorful,
bright colors.
Yeah,
anything. The Artful Escape. That would be
anything like Artful Escape would be a good one. Anything that is
no, maybe.
I would say
I think you guys are just picking games that you want to play.
No,
I've already
played these games, but yeah, okay, fair.
Anything that fits in the wholesome games general category.
Yeah.
Because usually you'll have like your pastely, like your brighter colors.
I mean, to be fair, at the Game Awards last year, was it It Takes Two won Best Family Game, right? So
true.
Yeah, that's maybe that's a good one.
Just ignore the horrific story about child abuse.
Yeah, right. Anyway.
Moving along, let's get into the news.
Neglect.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go to the news.
Make the kid cry. All right, what do we got, Cameron?
All right. So Kelsey, my colleague, showed me this one, and I fucking had the best laugh to it. France is banning all English gaming terms like streamer or cloud gaming. Words like streamer or esports will be banned from official usage as a part of the ongoing effort to preserve the purity of the language.
Sacre bleu.
Okay. Now, obviously, there's a whole thing around like why this is happening, right? But I really take umbrage with that last sentence, which is purity of the language.
Yeah.
French has no purity to its language. Okay, famously French. Okay, look, famously French has way fewer words than English, right? Like way fewer. That's part of the reason so many people learn.
Yeah, and they like some words they've taken from English, but you think about English. English is the bastard language.
Oh, 100%.
English is the language that has picked and chosen certain words from all these different languages.
Yeah.
Held together by duct tape.
It goes around in a trench coat, beating up other languages and taking its concepts.
Yeah.
It makes sense, right? But I think that French has like so much of the lingua franca are words that have been co-opted from from English and in ways that like definitely are not official French, but are used as the nomenclature. Like it's just kind of that's the way people speak. They just use a bastardized version of French that has weird English terms because so many things are
There's
invented in English.
no French term for that.
Yeah, exactly.
specifically.
If there isn't a French term for streamer and esports, you have to say streamer or esports in a slightly offensive accent. Like, what else are you gonna do?
Jeez.
Well, we could just, ask Chapter to come back on the pod and be like, "Hey, Chapter, can you just say these words for us in Canadian French?"
You know what?
The French will love that.
The best thing this morning too was hearing him say like Charlotte with like the little, like with the accent.
I think he missed me. He was like,
Yeah,
"I was wondering when
he
you'd
said
show up," and I'm like, "I'm sorry.
He
Sorry,
said he missed you.
James. I'm here now."
Aw.
Because I had to do a double take. I'm like, wait, who are you talking about? Because I was like half listening, and he's like,
Yeah.
"Oh, Charlotte," and I'm like,
Charlotte.
"Charlotte."
Yeah. Well, it was better when he used to call me Audrey.
Oh, today.
Audrey.
Oh, I love
I
it.
loved it.
Love it.
Now I'm just Charm or Charlotte. Well, okay.
It's fine. You go by so many names. Like we could call you anything.
Well,
and you'd
this
still
is
answer.
100% why my Discord name is the Char with many names.
Yeah.
Because
The Char with many names.
the Char with many names.
Yeah.
But apparently they're banning jargon such as pro gamer, which again, I don't.
Who
think
uses
French
pro
people know
gamer?
that. Exactly right, and I don't think anyone's described most French people as pro gamers. Streamer, esports, cloud gaming is banned. Instead, they'll use French alternatives.
I just,
Wow.
French
Oh my
alternatives.
god. Okay, I'm
And
just
wait,
reading.
I
Can
just
I read
know
them?
you
'Cause I
probably
could
haven't
read
read
them.
this article until now, and I was laughing my guts.
Holy
I haven't
shit. Yeah.
Okay, give me a second. Let me have a look.
This,
at
I mean, this is like the most French thing I've ever seen in my entire life. Is to be like, okay, we have these really easy to say terms that are in English that we basically have been using anyway. But
Yeah.
no, we're going to do the French thing and try and force it into the words that
Let's
we
just
have.
make them French.
Well, like
Yeah.
every.
Oh, wait. Oh my god.
Right? Yeah, okay,
Yeah.
Charlotte, you need to read these out.
So
Like, just
Charlotte can read them out in a second, but like any other like language in the 20th to 21st century has adopted like computer as a noun, like modern
Right, yeah.
terms is more as like a generalized
Oh.
language.
Wait. Oh my god. Okay.
All right,
It's not even
Charlotte,
good
explain
French.
it.
These are all like literal translations.
yeah, that's what I mean. That's what's funny about it.
That is actually super funny. Because literally, joyeux professionnel. So wait, I'll say that again. Joyeux professionnel is basically game professional,
Yeah.
not gamer.
Not
They've
gamer.
literally
game
called
professional.
it to play professional. They're using the verb for playing,
playing.
like playing a game.
Playing professionally. Yeah.
Yeah, and then joyeux animateur en direct is like essentially that is like your pro gamer there. Like that's not your pro gamer, that's your streamer.
Yeah.
Jeux vidéo de compétition.
Esports.
That's like esports.
Yep.
Yeah.
Jeux vidéo in neige is literally cloud.
like cloud isn't. I love
That's
it.
literally like a video game in a cloud.
In a cloud. Yes.
In a cloud.
Uh,
Jeux vidéo is to play a video, and
Mhm.
en neige is in a cloud.
In a cloud.
right. So I should
Like what the fuck?
elaborate too that these changes were made in consultation with the France's Ministry of Culture.
Mhm.
I'm just picturing this really posh guy with like the the paper
the
thin
pencil,
kinda
the pencil
mustache.
massage. Yeah.
holding a baguette over his soldier, like ready
Oh
to
my-
hammer
okay,
people.
okay, we're in.
Wow.
Okay, let's easy.
Okay,
done.
okay, I'm going too far. But so the Ministry of Culture told the French news agency AFP, Agency France Presse, that the country's video game sector is oversaturated with Anglicized gamer slang and can be a barrier to understanding for non-gamers. This is a generational thing.
Oh yeah,
That is
100%.
100% a generational thing.
because anyone who learned French in the last 20 years
Yeah.
will be like, yeah,
Even probably a bit more than that. 'cause
sure.
it's-
Yeah.
We're spitballing, yeah.
Yeah, like all Europeans are basically taught English as their second language. It's the older generation that don't know it. It's the same thing like when I taught English as a second language in Hong Kong. It was the older generation that didn't speak English. Anyone who was like 50 and younger, even 40 and younger, I'd probably go 40 and younger, spoke English.
Yeah.
Because it's so heavily taught in schools as your second language. It is for the majority of countries now. Like Chinese is, so English is the 4th most common language in the world, but it's the universal one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like even in Sweden, right? Like it was the thing where like when I went to Sweden, it was really hard for me to practice my Swedish because everyone spoke English. And like you were talking about, like,
and they want to practice their English with you, so they won't want to speak.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Which worked out well because when there were words they didn't know and I did know, it worked out quite well when I asking for a drink and I want a medium and they don't understand the word medium, so mellan is medium in Swedish. Yeah. So that was easy, right? But yes, so I learned the important stuff. Choklad drinka mellan, chocolate drink medium. Thanks McDonald's. And so I wanted a shake. I didn't know what the word for thick shake was in Swedish. I was going to break it down into milk drink, but I figured that would be too obscure.
Let's be honest. Whenever I eventually go overseas, I'm going to be learning languages through restaurants.
Yeah,
that's probably the easiest way. Like when I did go to France, a lot of the time they would just start speaking English because they'd realize that I was Kiwi or whatever.
Yeah.
But as long as you tried and attempted to speak, that would get you so much further. It was only ever usually in restaurants that I used it. Like there was one dinner where I ordered completely in French, and that was like the only time that I actually got the most French out. Or when I'd go into the bakeries and ask for they have the chocolate pain au chocolat. So I just un pain au chocolat, s'il vous plaît, and just order that, and that'd be sweet. Like that was the easiest thing. Or I just go, je parle un peu français. I speak a little bit of French, and they're good. But you will learn through the restaurants, like 100%. Yeah.
Because if you don't, you'll starve.
Well, yeah. Or you just point at the menu.
Yeah, this one.
Does it have pictures? Yeah.
Or just get that. You know that T-shirt that you can get that's like the travel T-shirt and it has all the images, the icons, and you just point it on.
Oh.
Yeah, he's looking at the menu. What the fuck is crème en glace?
Crème en glace.
Crème en glace. I don't understand.
Dear.
And
this is such a good news article though. Like
I love it. Yeah.
It's hilarious.
Because it doesn't fit into our usual topic of conversation.
No, it's so
like
interesting.
I get it, but I also think it's funny. Like I completely understand that they want to bring these words into the French words, and it makes sense that there are French versions, but it's like, why would you then ban the English versions? Why wouldn't you just have both?
Yeah.
Like that's
because they know that if they use both, that everyone's just going to use the English version.
Probably.
Like which again, and that's kind of them being like, yeah, we need to preserve the culture, but it's also them being, Ponzi and French.
I know you're already.
This is probably an old stat, but doesn't like a language die every 2 weeks?
I mean, it certainly does when I try to learn one.
Yeah. Anyway, we'll move on.
Just not Duolingo L here.
So, I'll get this other one quickly out of the way. Most people are probably already aware that the June update for Xbox will have secret achievements being revealed, which you can then go back and hide. Quick, just 2 sentences spill on it. If you're not aware of it, go check out the Xbox blog. Usually, I'm not really sure like what other features.
That's pretty much it, right? Like, I mean, it's the first update they've had in a while. This is something that Sony's been able to do on PlayStation for ages, so it's good good for them to add, because the secret achievement stuff doesn't really make a lot of sense when it comes to actually understanding what the fuck you need to do.
Yeah,
and especially when there's been heaps of times where I've been like, I wanted to just go and quickly check it up, and I'm like, fuck, it's not in the app, and I get really annoyed and then have to go and check TA because I have it all open on TA.
Yeah, and
then like it's nice that I don't have to do that anymore. Like that makes it so.
All right, now, when this update goes live, people, please do me one favor. Call out the games that have secret achievement as the achievement name. Need to reveal it. It's still a secret achievement. Because
I think that's kind of great.
It happens once in a blue moon. And it's fucking funny.
We'll find them.
Or achievement description is just left blank.
Yeah, because they don't expect people to see it until they earn it. So it'll probably be the older games.
Yeah. Moving along, dialogue from Cyberpunk's first expansion appears to have leaked, outlining the main quest.
Yeah. Okay. So I didn't look at this. I just looked a little while ago, and it's kind of been sort of. There's been more on it recently, but I didn't look at it because I don't want spoilers. Because again, it's kind of.
How recently then? Because this happened like I think 2-3 days ago.
Oh, okay.
Oh wait, no, 26th. It was a week ago. Sorry.
Yeah, I was gonna say. I thought I heard about this last week.
Yeah. So they patched the game as they've been doing with Cyberpunk, as we're all quite well aware by this point. Mm-hmm. To which point somebody data mined it and got all the DLC featuring. I'm not going to say the character's name because I don't want to spoil anything. But yeah, the entire plot line. So my first question is just
all their dialogue, right? Basically, has been mined out, so they can basically tell the path of the story.
So, why would you do all your dialogue this early into a patch for a future deal? Anyway,
with how Cyberpunk was handled in general, I am not even a little bit surprised.
Who's dealing with Cyberpunk security? Dealing with CD Projekt Red security.
I don't. Yeah.
Like you think that they're even doing it because
they must be close to release though, right? If they're already got dialogue.
I mean, dialogue and all that could be like done months in advance. They could be still polishing up game.
Sure. But I mean, like we're like months away, not like.
Oh yeah.
This end of the year away.
I'm pretty sure it got delayed. I wouldn't say months. I would probably say. Last I heard was like Q1 2023.
Really? I mean,
but I might be thinking of Witcher.
Yeah, maybe. I don't know, because I know a lot of that got pushed back because of all the patches and stuff they were doing. Their whole DLC roadmap got thrown out basically. So I don't know where they're at, but it does seem strange for them to add this into production build when they don't need to.
Confirmed for 2023, because I'm pretty sure they pushed back the roadmap.
Yeah, right, because of all the patches. So this is way fucking early then.
Yeah.
That's why I was a bit surprised about the fact that it was in there and data mined, but not surprised about the fact that it got leaked.
Yeah.
Because, God.
What do they expect was going to happen?
I mean, at least they're also at least CD Projekt Red is also announcing the Witcher 4 news at the same time.
That'll be good, yeah.
Because then at least we can't have a leak about it.
Sure.
Anyway, moving swiftly along from that story, what are we going to do next? I'm going to do the Multiverses characters one that may join the roster because I think this is a really good story after we were spitballing characters.
We're chatting about it.
To be right about heaps of them, yeah.
So in a post, a list of characters reportedly coming to the Multiverses, including Ted Lasso and Scorpion.
Okay, so Scorpion I called, all right? I want to say that right now. I made the joke about having Scorpion fucking saying, get over here, and fucking pulling Shaggy off the side of a cliff.
I've talked to Nikita before. Like, Ed Boon has tried to get Shaggy into Mortal Kombat.
Really? Okay,
apparently.
That's very funny.
But it's more a case of, like, them preserving the character. It's that kind of thing, yeah.
The whole thing was like they did that with Batman. The whole DC stuff, right? Was like they couldn't do like fatalities on whatever with the heroes because they couldn't kill people or whatever. It's like, well, at that stage, what are you doing?
Yeah. In a post on Reddit, the users just suggested that while some expected characters such as the Joker will be joining the game, other surprise characters such as Apple TV's Ted Lasso also plan. I'm really curious just on Ted Lasso because I didn't think that was a Warner Brothers property. I thought that was completely Apple, but
I know because I think Apple's just licensing studios, right? So I guess that makes sense.
That's fair. So following characters are mostly finished according to the user. This is backed up with a large amount of data mined information from the base game, including voice lines. So we've got Joker, Raven, Gizmo, Marvin the Martian, LeBron James, which I think is pretty cool. Rick, Morty, Scooby-Doo, Daenerys, the Hound, Wicked Witch, and Godzilla. Godzilla would be interesting. Moveset. Following lists of characters also reportedly planned for the inclusion, but in early stages of development. Johnny Bravo, Fred Flintstone, Samurai Jack, Powerpuff Girls, the Animaniacs, Duck Dodgers, Daffy, Scorpion, Ben 10, and Ted Lasso. So yeah. The poster notes that previously leaked characters Mad Max and Harry Potter are currently on hold, and that despite being part of the original leak, it's unclear if any work on Harry Potter was ever completed. While Ted Lasso may seem like a strange inclusion, this hugely popular football-based Apple TV series is partly produced by Warner Brothers in conjunction. Okay, there we go.
And it's not like these kinds of games are strangers to having guest characters from other stuff, right? I mean, the whole like obviously what they're trying to do with this is capture that Smash magic, right? Where the first of all, Smash is a hugely popular game and like it plays well and a lot of people love it. But also it has that thing where everyone is always speculating about who the next fighter getting added to it in the next update is going to be, right? Yeah. And so it's like, okay, they've revealed 4 out of the 5. Who's number 5? And everyone's posting like, oh, it's going to be, Joker from Persona 5. And it turns out it is. And it's like, oh, it's going to be Banjo-Kazooie and Steve from Minecraft or fucking, Sephiroth. And it's like, wow, some of the characters just, I mean, Sora was the last one they did for Smash, right? And like everyone was speculating, but I never saw that coming.
And then we had the Kingdom Hearts games all getting cloud versions, so it made perfect sense.
It's all good tie-ins and that kind of stuff. So they obviously want to recapture some of that zeitgeist and some of that excitement for Warner Brothers characters, which is a bit weird. But if you've got Scorpion in there's a good chance you can maybe get a Sub-Zero or get a Goro or something like. This, with all the properties available to them, they've got a license to sort of print money when it comes to selling these characters.
Well, yeah, these are all. Well, this game is free to play. Correct me if I'm wrong.
I don't know about that.
I thought I said in the past, but now I'm not too sure.
I'm not 100% sure because I know other games like it was Brawlhalla, which has like Rayman and stuff in it. I think is free to play on that same sort of model. But...
purchase.
Yeah.
I'm just trying to see purchase option. Either way, I'm going to be picking it up. I'm very curious on it. It seems like the kind of game that it's going to be a perfect base. As long as the gameplay mechanics are fun, you're just going to keep on adding characters. And like Ted Lasso is such a weird thing to think. Just because of... Have you watched Ted Lasso yet?
I haven't.
No.
He's so humble, believe, sign all that kind of, the supportive...
But also destroy our enemies and kick them off the side of a cliff.
It's going to be very interesting just hearing Jason Sudeikis just doing voice acting in that regard. Just but it's going to be very interesting. I am definitely keen to check it out. I don't know if they've done a release date yet though.
No, because it's still in active development, right? So I think they're not quite sure when it's coming out. I don't know if it's going to be a this year thing. I don't know. What do you think, Charlotte? Are you going to pick it up? Is it something interesting?
I do like those kind of games, but I've already got a few on my tag that I need to complete, so it's not probably something I'll do straight away. I might. That's not a day one for me.
Yeah,
I'll hold off on that. Probably.
You're nuts.
I don't know. I'm kind of on the same fence. It's like I don't really like platform fighters or whatever you want to call them, right? Like
I'm also terrible at jumping.
Yeah, the platforming is in the title, right? So that's kind of So yeah, that's half the game gone,
Perfect game for me to play with Percy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
because I can just chuck on Powerpuff Girls or something and
win every time. Yeah, no, absolutely.
You know what? I want
teach
cow.
The value of Mortal Kombat. Yeah.
I want cow and chicken.
I mean, yeah, that's the thing. There's a good possibility they'll do cow and chicken in Dex's Lab and that kind of era of Cartoon Network, right? That's possible.
The good era of Cartoon Network.
And plus, it's on top of them doing characters, they'll do stages based on a lot of the stuff too, right?
Yeah.
I want Plank. Give me Plank and I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Plank, yeah, play him. Yeah.
I put up the thing and I was just like, yep, Plank. Give me Plank.
Yeah, Plank. He just wins every time.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't. Again, this is not really my kind of game. The only reason I really enjoyed Smash Bros. I played a shitload of Melee on the GameCube back in the day was because I like those characters a lot.
Yeah.
And I played Samus all the time. I'm a huge Zelda fan, so I play as Link a lot. So that was kind of the appeal there, and also I was much younger. Whereas now, in terms of like Warner Brothers characters are okay, and there's some nostalgia there, but the only one I'd want to play as is Samurai Jack. Samurai Jack's a fucking badass. I'd use him constantly.
Are you gonna pick up the?
I just
want
to play as Harley.
Right. Yeah. Sorry. What was that, Cameron?
I was gonna say, are you gonna pick up the game that came out? I think it's had a few sales.
Yeah, apparently it's okay. I don't know.
Okay.
I've considered it a few times, but it just kind of hasn't gotten to where I want to play it yet. But I did look at it when it came out. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, Harley's a really good shot there.
Yeah, Harley would be a good one.
Look, the DC characters are the best fit for this, obviously.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense.
Yeah. Moving along, have you guys heard the news of Ed Freeze expressing his concern over the potential impact the company's Game Pass subscription service could have on the games industry?
Yeah, I mean, we've heard a lot of the sort of stuff when Game Pass was first announced, right? About like how it was like, oh, I don't know if this model's going to work, and then when it showed that it did work, like, oh, well, maybe you're killing the games industry.
Yeah,
and it was like, I mean, yeah, but also kind of get fucked a little bit. Like,
I mean, didn't they prove that like they're actually making more money for some of the games?
I'm gonna go into the story.
Yeah, go for it.
So, speaking as part of the What interview of the Xbox Expansion Pass, which is another podcast, Ed Freeze, who was part of the original Xbox launch team before his departure in 2004, was asked what he would do if he was still part of Microsoft's gaming team today. Freeze, I'm probably butchering. I think it's like Freeze.
It's all good.
I think it's Freeze.
Yeah. Freeze didn't give an explicit answer, but said that he was scared of the impact Game Pass could have. Should it become a dominant business model like Spotify has in the music industry. He also made broad claims about Spotify's impact on the music industry, some of which have been disputed by experts.
And that's kind of what I wanted to talk about, right? Because I have we've heard talk about this like in the past, where it's like, oh well, it's good for the consumer, but it's quote unquote bad for the artists.
Yeah.
And I think that like it's bad for the artists compared to what they used to do, which was fleecing the shit out of people by charging way too much for shit that people didn't want, right? Like we talk about how like there's the whole thing where piracy, and again I'll tie this back in, but piracy is a service problem, not a product problem, right? Yeah. And that if you make something easy for people to consume and get, they won't steal it.
Yeah.
And like iTunes proved this by saying, okay, instead of going out to HMV or JB Hi-Fi and buying like, you know, a CD for $20-$30 to listen to 2 songs on it, you go on iTunes and you buy those 2 songs.
Individual songs that you want.
That you want, right? And back when that happened, they're like, oh no, that means that they're only going to make singles and they're not going to do albums. Yeah, that definitely fucking happened, right? You know, I was like, fucking every artist only release singles now. They haven't had a single album release in the last 20 years because iTunes ruined the whole thing. And it's like, fuck no. Musicians make fucking music, and some songs are better than others, and they put together an album, and obviously they hope.
And you have the dedicated fans that will buy the album.
Yeah, like, they'll buy the album, they'll buy the fucking T-shirt, they'll buy the poster, and they'll go see the show. And like that's never going to change.
But you're just getting more because you're now going to get the individual sales for the individual popular songs.
Yeah.
But like they used to release the one single song, like the biggest popular song, because I used to buy them at the warehouse. I'd buy the single CDs because they were like $1. And that's exactly the same as what Apple did, but they just digitized it. Like,
yeah, absolutely. And the thing is that like, yeah, some people will go from buying the album to buying the individual song, right? And that sucks because you're losing revenue. But they're having a better customer experience, and this is me putting my marketing hat on, right? They're having a better customer experience, getting what they need, and your product that you're selling needs to be customer centric at the end of the day. Like obviously you need to make money to keep going, but if you're not thinking about the customer first, you're doing the wrong thing. We've seen this and this is what Netflix is going through at the moment. You know, they're thinking, and again, we're talking about like the Spotify for video games, Netflix for video games, where it's a streaming service or it's a pay for one thing and you get as many games as they put onto the service and you just play them whenever you want. Yeah. And now Netflix are going, well, actually, we do 2 seasons of a show and then we cancel it because it's not financially viable to do any more than that. Well, it is, but it's just easier for us, so we don't have to deal with it because we don't have to deal with people renegotiating contracts. And then we want to, we want to charge people more for extra screens, and we want to charge people who are trying to share passwords, and like they're just shooting themselves in the foot, right? And leading people back down this other path to piracy, where they're just like, well, this is you used to make this good and easy to use, and you've taken this away.
Yeah, I mean, 100%.
It's pretty much like, especially the US too, like cable used to be the most expensive thing, and now it's like trying to keep up with all these different networks.
There's so many, this is why so many people end up sharing the services, right? Like Spotify, I've always had, because I just prefer to have Spotify Premium because I always have music, but that's my best way of listening to music. So I will never get rid of Spotify because they have such a good system for what it is.
Yeah.
Because you just have access to everything that you need.
Just about, yeah.
Like to a point.
Well, I would say
Some
like
are not on there,
90%,
right? But then in terms of like how I go and watch things, like we've previously talked about things before, but I like have a shared account with my mum for Disney Plus and Netflix. And we share the two. And I hardly ever use either of them now. Like I'll go in there occasionally when, say, like I want to watch something with Dio because he's in Portugal. So we're like, okay, we've got a date night coming up. Let's watch a movie, and we both go in and do a watch party with Netflix. Like that works, or Disney Plus, or we both watched Moon Knight together because Disney Plus has to watch together. You just have to both have an account. So I don't know, and like I find that Netflix is just a bit overrated these days. Like I don't tend to I use Disney Plus more than I do Netflix, and half the time with Disney Plus I only keep it for when I want, like I'll get rid of it when the shows that I've watched are then done, and then get it back again when I know there's a specific like show coming up, right? Otherwise we've used the Plex server because that's just the easiest way for me to find things and watch them. Like I wouldn't, if everything was in one place and I could pay one fee, I fucking would.
Yeah,
exactly.
Other than that, I'm more inclined to want to go and use piracy. Not that I do.
In a video game, in GTA, in roleplay. Yeah, absolutely. Not.
Yeah, right. Like, I'm more likely to go and find it elsewhere because it's not readily available in one place. Because people are inherently lazy.
Yeah, I was going to quickly add too. I'm not concerned about the potential impact that the Game Pass subscription model has on the games industry. Like Mike Ross from No More Robots came out saying like basically sit down, shut up and stop speaking for like game publisher has put out Yes Your Grace having a mental blank of the other games, Mind Scanners, some other stuff. It came out and said like with the Game Pass model, all the development costs of the studio are covered up front and sometimes more some. And then basically like it's a win-win situation.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly, right. And it's like it's good for the consumers and it's good for the developers. Not so great for some of the publishers because it kind of muddles, but whatever, fuck them, to be honest.
No, like Mike Ross is a publisher.
Sure, but I'm talking like big publishers more.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Again, like I'm talking like your EAs and your kind of Ubisofts and that kind of stuff where they.
It's a great model for indies though, and those
exactly.
middle of
for
the
discoverability
range games that would like, and the fact that there are so many games that I have now played or like will play that are on Game Pass. If they weren't on Game Pass, I wouldn't touch them. I never would have played like Donut County or.
Yes, Your Grace.
No, or Yes, Your Grace. Yeah, but this is a different story. We don't
Yes,
Your
Grace alone.
I am. I'm not saying anything.
But
I will, but I'm not saying anything right now. We've
talked like on RGS before about like the $1 to 1 hour kind of model, and like indies do not serve that model well.
No, it doesn't work.
But
it's
like,
just, it's not sustainable.
If
it's not sustainable for most of them, right? Some of them will hit it big, but most of them not.
Seeing like a variety of games that are like indie darlings, but might be $30-$40 as a price point that I could not otherwise access. Like, is an achievement hunter. I'm all about. Well, not even as an achievement hunter, as myself as an individual, I'm all about game discoverability and being able to try as many different experiences as possible. Like Game Pass allows for that.
It does.
In terms of like the only negative aspect I can think of Game Pass, and it leads into the digital model, is essentially like it's just another nail in the coffin for brick and mortar stores.
Yeah,
but that's the further.
Yeah.
Like that's the extent of.
Yeah, I mean I agree, but also like they were kind of on the way out before this even happened. Right?
Yeah, I mean like it's the digital age.
It's the end, right?
Yeah.
I mean, like I went to EB Games like last week, and it was 70% pop vinyls and T-shirts, and like there was a tiny section for Xbox and a tiny section for PlayStation, a tiny section for Microsoft.
Yeah.
For like PC and for Nintendo. But like him talking about like I think that if Game Pass had gone down the route of being like, oh, actually, the streaming service for video games is actually 10 different services like it has for video, we would be having a different discussion.
Yeah.
But the fact that Microsoft, the owner of the platform, was like, no, we will sort this shit out. We will put this on our platform. We will wrangle the deals. We'll do a deal with EA to get some of their shit on here. They might do a deal with Ubisoft. Again, who knows, right? But they're like, no, we'll sort this out. We will make sure that this is the one best place to play video games. And I 100% agree. That's the Spotify model where you have most of the stuff in one place for one fee.
Mm-hmm.
If it was more like Spotify and had more games and more buy-in, that would be great. I don't want it to go to the Netflix model of being like, well, we have a couple of things. We have the second game, but not the first game.
Yeah, no.
Right? Because that's just not going to work. And I think that...
Although they do tend to do like... Okay, so they don't tend to have multiples very often though, right?
That's true.
So I'm trying to get Plague Tale done now because the sequel's coming and almost certain they will pull Innocence before they drop Requiem.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
I wanted to read Mike Rose's tweet about Game Pass because just the energy of it, I just fucking love. I've said this before, but Game Pass is guaranteeing success for dozens of devs every single month by paying them their entire dev costs and then some on day one. Anyone tweeting, "A Game Pass is bad for devs," has zero clue about how this industry works and should get in a bin. As an explainer, normally you launch a game, it costs X to make, and you hope your game plus marketing was good enough to make X back so you can start making a profit. If you're on Game Pass at launch, it's likely that you've instantly made X on launch day. Which would you choose? Even now, I have people responding to me explaining why they, armchair analysis dude, know how Game Pass works better than me. Somebody actually has games on the service and knows dozens of devs who have been extremely happy to have their games on there. But sure, you do you. P.S. And then because he's also involved with the announcement of Spirit Tea, which is that Stardew Valley looking one that's...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That got announced like a week ago. That looks fucking amazing. In terms of like a wholesome game. But yeah, I find it so funny. Like I can understand an argument when we get to the point that we have a saturation in the market of these subscription-based services. But I don't think we will ever get to that point because even this week, Take-Two CEO came out and said like, absolutely, like never will we have day one. Our day one games in Game Pass.
Yeah, which is fine. That's on them, right?
Yeah. But they still use Game Pass as a model, and they
it's part of their strategy.
Yeah.
They just use it as a.
They're just not going to have it as a day one.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think that there was a point I was going to make. I'm trying to remember now. It'll come to me, but the only issue that I have with Game Pass, and because the thing is, like, Netflix started off really good too, and this is the only part where I'll give Ed Freeze a little bit of a thing here around. It's Netflix started off a really good player in this space, right? They basically invented the video streaming game for the most part, and then they slowly lost ground to the competition. The competition started getting exclusives, and started competing with them with their own services, right? If that starts happening, that's a whole different story, right? If like we've seen this a little bit with Ubisoft having their own thing, and with Sony doing their own thing, obviously, and then with EA, but obviously they've worked out a deal, so the EA access stuff comes across. But if we start having 2K doing their own thing, and then EA does they're like, okay, well, we've been bought by this thing, or we've got, I don't know. The only thing is that there aren't enough big publishers, I think, for it to be that big of an issue. It's not like it is with with movies and TV, right, where you have hundreds of studios, most of them owned by the same people, but whatever. The other problem is that game preservation becomes a problem around digital ownership, because like we went from brick and mortar where you owned the disc, and even then that was fuzzy because of end license agreements and stuff, right? And then you went to digital, you don't own anything physical, but you still kind of own the license. Does it actually belong to you? And now it's like, well, now you don't even own that. Now you just own a subscription that gives you access to the stuff when they allow you to have it. And so that gets a little bit iffy around like what happens when this turns off, or what happens when they decide to pull the plug, or the service ends. And like again, that doesn't
Same thing with games with gold.
Exactly, right. And to me, that I don't care that much about it because that's not why I play games as experiences. Don't care about ownership all that much. Yeah. But I know that is a worry for other people. And then the last thing is, at the moment, it's a really good deal. It's a fantastic deal, right? Game Pass is the best deal in gaming, right? How long is that going to be that way, right? Because there is going to be a part where basically 90% of games come out on a streaming service. And it won't be tomorrow, and it probably won't be in the next 4 to 5 years, right? But it will get to a stage where this becomes the model for video games. And at that stage, what's to stop Microsoft going, well, we have the market share. This is how games come out now. Now Game Pass is 3 times more expensive. And there's more tiers. And also there's all these extra add-ons and packages you need to buy because you're fucked. You don't have a choice.
Wow, I feel attacked. So I should point out that Lefty has said in the chat, and the winning solution to my problem is listen to Charlotte talk with 2 silly dummies. Why?
I did say that listening to the podcast was the best way to put anyone to sleep. I have said that.
Yeah, that's true.
Oh, God.
Yeah. And my comic relief occasionally split out there.
I'm particularly interested just with how people like even Kotaku. I don't think we talked last week about that article that Kotaku put out, like why I'm canceling my Game Pass subscription.
I know we didn't actually, but
yeah.
And then the Game Pass account clapping hilarious. Back, being like,
it's very fun.
Tell us you don't care about indies without telling us you don't care about indies, something like that.
And then
the golden ratio. Oh yeah, I think we might have talked about the gold ratio.
I think we talked about it personally, but I don't know if we talked about it on the show.
Yeah, I think we talked about it in a party because that was hilarious.
It's very funny.
It's very funny. So for those that don't check the Bird app, essentially Kotaku put out an article attacking Game Pass, like essentially that kind of big gamer moment of like, oh, they're not releasing any triple games, nothing's like
Xbox
games kind of narrative, yeah. And then
as usual.
And then the Game Pass account clapped back at him with a retweet that was essentially, tell us you don't play indies without.
Tell us you don't care about indies without saying you don't care about indies. Yeah.
Isn't Achievement Hunter like indies are the only thing that I really care about playing these days? Like I want those experiences because
even if I wasn't an Achievement Hunter. Like that's the kind of thing is like, and I'm kind of on the tail end of my achievement hunting journey for the most part, right? Like I did all my stuff years ago, and now I'm kind of a bit more chill about it. But I'm still excited about the cool stuff that comes to Game Pass each week. I mean, I learned so much about you talking about what's getting added that I'm just like, actually, I need to put it in my.
You know what the favorite part of my job is at the moment? So two things.
Getting paid.
Oh well, that's okay. 3 things. First thing is getting paid. The second thing is
flexibility.
The second thing is
career advancement opportunities.
The second thing is getting pitch decks.
Really, really good coffee in the break room. Am I getting close?
I haven't been to Singapore yet, so I can't confirm.
Yeah, no.
So the second thing that I really, really enjoy is the fact that developers will send pitch decks which break down their goals, what their scope of the project is, what they want to achieve, and all that. And it's fascinating to me as a gamer to be able to have that perspective. And then the third thing is like being able to talk to a developer and understanding like essentially like with a AAA, you're a cog in machine, yeah?
Sure.
You're working as like, and I'm not saying that in a negative regard, but you're working as part of a team which, could be hundreds to thousands of people to make a polished finished project. Which might at the end of the day still launch with bugs and still might not be what you think. Yeah.
Yeah, you could work at Ubisoft. Yeah.
Anyway, moving on. I love the fact though that I can talk to a developer now and get their reasoning, get their passion. People that have spent 3 or 4 years, working as small teams or solo devs, and being like, this is the heart and soul I put in. This is the random duck boss I've added into my dungeon crawler, which I love it so much. I've shown you guys, I think.
Yeah.
But just life like that, it is so fascinating to me. And that's what I enjoy most about Game Pass. Like, just that indie discoverability, because unless, like, I'm getting, like, a lot more aware of what games are coming out now just because of events like Steam Next Fest, where they showcase a lot of upcoming titles. You know, even having a look at, you know, just upcoming games in general. But it's just really, really fascinating. And then just to be able to, like we've all said before, being able to, you know, day one play a game that hits Game Pass. I can tell you that, like, the last month, I wouldn't have experienced Loot River, Citizen Sleeper, and Trek to Yomi, like, on day one.
Yeah, you started a few extra new ones too, which is quite cool.
Yeah. I wanna bump up the Game Pass list again. Tank the ratio. Take the percentage.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, you don't care, right?
Nah, I don't care.
But yeah, I love Game Pass, to be honest. It's like, I'm not buying that many games these days. That's the only way I play new stuff, is stuff coming to Game Pass. I've got a list of stuff that I want to get through there. It's a new separate backlog there's now on a time limit. So I'm going to be playing differently, but probably not any less.
Probably not.
Do you want to talk about Star Wars, Cameron? You love it so much?
All right. So quick mention of Star Wars Jedi Survivor, the new sequel to Jedi. Did we talk about Star Wars last week?
We didn't.
We didn't? Okay.
We did not.
So yeah, Star Wars Jedi Survivor is the sequel to the Fallen Order, and it will be a much darker, menacing tone, says the director.
Yeah, I mean,
perfect. The trailer looked freaking awesome.
Trailer looks amazing. This is like the only point that I will touch Star Wars. As much to other podcast hosts' dismay, I only enjoy, like, I really enjoy Respawn games, and I really enjoy this. And then even, like, hearing people call out Fallen Order for being Souls-like, like, I don't care. I don't give a shit that you know, what the white guys called again in the suits.
The what?
Stormtroopers. That's I meant to blank. I meant to blank on the name.
You're killing me here. Right. Yeah, it's gonna be like this is a day one for me.
Yeah,
I don't give a shit. I'm like I was a little iffy on Fallen Order, because I was like, look, it's been a while since we've had a good Star Wars game. EA has fucking dropped the ball so many times. I love Respawn, put a lot of trust in them.
But this was their first game. This was their second game after. Sorry, their first new IP after, you know, being acquired by EA at the same time.
Yeah, right. And so it was, it was fucking great. I love it. It has problems. It's not a perfect game by any means. And I know that those problems are usually on videos on the internet. It was quite buggy at launch.
But I can wall run.
Yeah, it's. I love it. Like, as a Star Wars fan, and also because this is the one good thing Disney did when they wiped the lore, was that they were like, okay, everything that gets released needs to be canon. It has to fit. It doesn't always fit perfectly. There's always kind of, shit happens, right?
Yeah.
But this, like, in terms of, like, where this is set, like, so the original one is set during after the Clone Wars, during the Jedi Purge. This is the new one is set 5 years later, so we're much deeper into the Empire's takeover. We're much deeper into more Inquisitor stuff. I'm stupidly fucking excited about, like, where this takes place and kind of all the interesting stuff that they can talk about. And who the fuck is that person in the pod? If you watch the trailer, who is in the back to tank? Theories are abound. Is it Starkiller? Are they bringing it back? Is it one of the old Jedi?
Mean, if they bring Starkiller back, I will be fucking excited. I really like the Force Unleashed games.
Yeah. Again, non-canon anymore, but still, there's stuff in there that they can still pull back into the canon. Maybe not pulling a Star Destroyer out of the sky with the Force. The coolest fucking thing that has ever happened in Star Wars, but doesn't make any sense, but whatever.
Can I just add to that too? Like, Disney at the moment feels like, all right, we'll grab all our, like, I'm just thinking specifically for the Defenders characters. I'm like, we'll grab all our older characters and that make no sense to this canon, and we'll just chuck them in because the fans will go wild for it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Just do that. Just chuck in Starkiller, make it make no sense at all. I'm all for it.
I mean, like,
I want to see that shit.
There's stuff in there that they can do. I mean, like, the thing with Legends when Disney took over was they were like, okay, this stuff is non-canon until it is. And so it's like they can cherry pick stuff where they're like, okay, Knights of the Old Republic, yeah, that's non-canon until we make it canon. right? Until we like until you watch Rogue One and one of the
until
ships.
they join something that connects it. Yeah.
Exactly. Until Clone Wars says Darth Bane, and you're like, holy shit, really? And Mark Hamill voices him again. If you haven't watched Clone Wars, it's a little rough, but towards the end it gets incredible. Anyway,
it is good.
All right.
I have so much good stuff to say about Star Wars. So yes, I'm very, very excited for this. I'm super down for a real dark story.
I just want to point out the last bit of this article too. So Survivor is one of the 3 Star Wars projects in development at Respawn. It's also working on a new Star Wars first-person shooter helmed by former LucasArts veteran and Medal of Honor co-creator Peter Hirschman. Hirschman previously worked on the original Star Wars Battlefront games and The Force Unleashed, and more recently directed 2020 VR title Medal of Honor Above and Beyond. Respawn's third Star Wars project is a strategy game developed through a production collaboration with Bit Reactor, which is a studio formed by veterans of XCOM and Civilization studio Furix Games. I am so fucking keen for that. I love myself a really good strategy game.
Yeah, as soon as you said strategy, I was like, Cameron's gonna love that.
Yeah.
I will not touch it.
I will play it on the easiest difficulty and cheese my way through it by being like, oh, I missed, load. I missed, load.
Civilization 3 is one of my favorite games from my childhood. Because it has that level of simplicity back then where they didn't add on all these, I like a good strategy game that works, like game mechanics work without, how to explain it?
You're a square, not hexes kind of guy.
Yeah,
right,
well, that's one of them.
Right.
But it's also the fact that they just added all the, like politics and all that were very basic. They expanded everything else out, which is great, yeah. If you're playing solely into that franchise.
Sure. There's a lot there.
Back then I could easily, same as like Age of Empires, start up in the morning. Oh, it's dark outside now. Whoops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
SimCity, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Fucking love it. Anyway.
Yeah. I'm hoping that this FPS that they're talking about, I'm really hoping is kind of like maybe a return to like Dark Forces or Jedi Outcast, kind of in that era of the sort of after the rebellion. They probably won't bring back Kyle Katarn or anything like that, but like that feeling of being like, actually, you're wiping up the remnants of the Empire after the second Death Star is destroyed. There's a lot of cool stories they can tell there. If you've read the Aftermath trilogy, there's a lot there they can use. I know I'm a huge Star Wars nerd and like I'm very, very biased, but there is a lot of opportunity there as long as Disney doesn't fuck it up.
And
it
there's
feels like
so much that they could use.
I feel like outside of the movies, they're doing a pretty good job, and they really just shit the bed with the sequel trilogy, unfortunately.
Right.
But anyway, we should probably move on.
All right. I'm going to quickly go for the Game Pass updates.
Yep.
Yes. Okay. Yeah. Go for it.
So Games of Gold, we have Aven Colony, which was previously in Game Pass. Really, really good strategy game. Highly recommend. Super Meat Boy, indie classic. Definitely pick that up if you don't already own it.
You may already own it because I believe it's been Games with Gold before.
Has it?
I believe so. Yes.
Project High Rise, which I've never seen before, but it looks pretty interesting.
Yeah, I think it might have come out on disc. I don't think it was a big wide release though.
Okay. And Rascals, which was a arcade Xbox Live game, which
Classic one. Yep.
Yeah, barely know anything about. Games that are getting added definitely in June 2022. So June 1st, we got For Honor Marching Fire Edition, which I believe is For Honor, but with the Marching Fire DLC attached.
Oh, okay. So they have like a PvE thing to it, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Ninja Gaiden Master Collection, which joined yesterday. Assassin's Creed Origins coming on June 7th. Amazing game. Probably the... I would say
it's the best.
The best one out of the new ones.
The best of the new trilogy, yeah. I think it's before it kind of got its head too far up its own ass.
Like, it's still a massively long game, but I think Odyssey and just Valhalla took the piss.
Yeah, I agree.
Chorus, which came out, I believe, 3 or 4 months ago, which I've been very keen to check out, is take control of Nara on a quest to destroy the dark cult that created it and unlock devastating weapons and mind-bending abilities in this evolution of a space combat shooter. Disc Room. What was that?
Sounds good to me. Like, as long as the achievements are okay, I'll definitely jump on.
Looks like high AA quality.
Great.
Disc Room, which is apparently a really good indie.
Cool.
I think Disc Room might be Devolver. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah, I'm not sure about
But
that.
anything that Devolver publishes,
Probably
I
find
usually
out
want to check out.
Yeah.
And Space Lines from the Far Out, which is a roguelike co-op management game, which is blending two of my favorite genres together. So I'm definitely going to check it out. And it has like a 60s space age flair to it.
Okay, like kind of like Headlander or whatever it was. No, head out.
I haven't tried
Okay, you should do
that
That's
one.
a
Yeah,
Double
so I
Fine
might
is
need
great
to.
one. And yes, you're right. Disc Room is a Devolver published.
Yeah. I mean, anything that comes out published by Devolver, I reckon is the least worth playing once. They usually just hit. They know what games that they need to push.
There's a port because I think it has come out on other platforms already. So there's
Yeah,
if
it's
you wanna check out
definitely
some
been
reviews.
popular on Steam. Games leaving Game Pass, we have Darkest Dungeon, which I think was a year contract.
Yeah,
Dungeons and Dragons Dark Alliance.
couldn't wait fast enough.
Yeah. Greedfall, Limbo, Words Rumble. I believe Limbo Mixpot users back from when Mixer was around probably still own this.
I do.
All in all, I don't like. Is there anything you guys are gonna try?
I
And
mean,
develop?
Limbo is probably the one. If you don't own it, you should probably do it. It's quick. I mean, there is that one achievement that I don't have for not. dying
You'll
more
get
than 5
800
times.
game score. It's completing the game with less than 10 deaths. I think if you're trying to
Less than
validate
5
it,
deaths,
though,
yeah.
5 deaths.
Yeah.
Okay. If you're trying to validate though, I reckon you'll be able to do it. It's just muscle memory from a few attempts.
If you just bash your head against it for long enough, you get it. It's just frustrating.
Yeah.
But
It's probably not one I'll jump on because I've got I am not starting anything new for the month of June.
Yeah. Oh, we should. We're talking about games that we're playing, but we should also mention that we are all partaking in another podcast. Sorry, the arsehole podcast.
The ones that don't like questions.
Yeah, the ones that don't like
they
questions.
they will not be questioned under any circumstances.
So the Xbox Cast is running back to your backlog, which I was commissioned to do the graphics for once again, which I thought they turned out. Mwah. Essentially, how it runs is there's like no limitations. You just pick some games in your backlog and you go, I'm going to work on that. And then if you want to pick a list of 100 games and get every person in the community to pick 2 games and then randomize it, you do you, boo.
Yeah.
And they have to. The only stipulation is they have to be games you've already started. So they have to be on your tag.
Yeah.
And because they have a separate event, which is back to your backlog 2, for games that you have sitting that you've bought that you haven't started.
Yeah.
So we'll worry about that when that comes up.
So if you guys don't mind, I'm going to start off with mine. I've only played 2 games this week. Banjo-Tooie is what I've played since the first, essentially because of the event. I am so conflicted as a fan.
Okay, I'm going to say it right now. I told you so. Right?
I don't want to say it's a bad game. It's an average game.
No, it's an okay game.
It
is a very disappointing follow-up.
And I was like, I wonder why I haven't completed this before, because I've done like Banjo-Kazooie in one sitting because I've loved it. And I think there's a few things, yeah. There's a lack of hub world, like a proper hub world. There is the fact that collectibles feel lazy now.
And there's way more of them. Yep.
I mean, like, there's way more of them, but like in terms of, you'd go for a whole level and it was discovering every nook and cranny and getting 100 notes, whereas it's like, cool, bundle of 5, bundle of 5, bundle of 5, like a treble clef, 20 notes.
Yep.
And it's like,
Yeah.
no, I would much rather you give me like the 5 going alongside, and then I can do that level of discoverability. Like, pardon me. But yeah, like in terms of the humor and all that, I mean, it's still Banjo-Kazooie. Still love it in that regard. It's just, the gameplay is a bit more cumbersome.
Yeah, my biggest issue was the fact that the levels were interconnected, which sounds weird, right? But the fact that you could go from one level to the other without the hub, and there were shortcuts between the levels, kind of made it feel like it wasn't like a sort of well-crafted individual area in the same way
miss
as the
the
original
paintings.
game. Yeah, exactly. It was like that, like the original game with the jigsaws and like even like Super Mario 64
Jigsaws
was
and the
this-
puzzles was great.
Yeah, like Super Mario 64 had that same idea. Again, they were very similar games, where it was like you go into the level, you do the thing in the level to get the thing, and everything in the level is just in the level. There's no, and like there are secrets in the level itself, but there's none of this like, okay, well, you need to go through a secret back door to another level somewhere else. And like the level of collectibles, and like if you played, was it Donkey Kong Country, which was the next kind of one that they did on the 64, like that, like that's kind of where they took that even further and made like a million collectibles, different playable characters, and just totally took the piss. Yeah. Banjo-Tooie has kind of a little bit too much of that DNA of them heading in that direction that I really, really didn't like.
Yeah.
Because I was surprised too, because I never played it when it came out because I didn't have an N64. Like I played the original Banjo and I was like, oh, I really love this game. And then I played the sequel and I was like, okay, I see what people mean when they don't really talk about it.
I had the original and I love the original, but I have like no nostalgia for Banjo-Tooie, other than I would go to a friend's place and maybe like play like a level. But even then, it was like very young age. Tell you what, if for N64 fans, like the Star Fox game, like it was, that is perfect for like going back to every year or so and just doing a full playthrough. Quickly shout out that, but like there are some positives about this game. I do appreciate the humor because the humor is very still Banjo-Kazooie. I do appreciate the movesets, even though sometimes it can feel like there's way too much.
Yeah, because they had to add on extras because they basically give you all the abilities from the first game plus more of them.
Yeah, which I like that because it's like so many games do that. Like, oh, I got knocked on the head and I forgot all the last game's kind of movesets. It's just like no, they use that as a base and they added to it. They added the fact that you'd split Banjo and Kazooie to do like separate puzzles, which I actually really enjoy. I really enjoy the quick jigsaw puzzle, like little mini game is going in, and even that like a variety in the mini games throughout the levels are pretty cool. Just most of it just deals with like dealing with the environment in general and picking stuff up, collectibles. Like the game mechanics work fine, but it's not the kind of collectathon that I enjoyed on an N64 kind of game.
It's just not as compelling for some reason. There's something missing.
Yeah.
What else you got, mate?
But yeah, and then the only other... I'm going to finish up Banjo-Tooie this weekend, and then I might do Sunset Overdrive Windows, because I love that game, and I need an excuse to go back to it. Yeah. Need for Speed Heat. So me and Natalator...
Natolinator.
Yeah. So we challenged each other to do for Need for Speed Heat. He's already completed the game. I've been very busy with work this week. That's my excuse.
I was going to say, here come the excuses. Yep, that's fine. We'll get a new one ready each week.
Yeah, that's fine. But Heat. Oh, how do I explain Heat? Going from Hot Pursuit, where everything is a challenge, to going to a Need for Speed game where nothing is a challenge. Well, I won't say nothing is a challenge, but like in terms of like racing, I've had 1 second out of every race that I've done.
So you're saying this is the kind of game I should be
playing? I mean, like this is an incredibly easy game. It's just very grindy. Right. And then there's just the hardest part of this game is you will get greedy with the nighttime events. So how the game is split up is you have daytime events that give you cash, and you have nighttime events that give you rep. Rep deals with like your XP and leveling, whereas in daytime events deal with your cash, so you can buy new cars, like upgrade abilities, that kind of stuff. Gone are the stuff in Hot Pursuit, like the road, everything that you had as a racer, in terms of road strips, in terms of like essentially the best thing you got is a jammer. Nitrous, and that's essentially it, yeah. This is very much a lack of variety in that sense. The biggest problem I have with the game is you'll do a nighttime event, you'll get greedy, like I got heat level 5, which is max heat level, and then the cops will just come out, like, they won't come out of nowhere, but they will just annihilate you. Like, 4 is fine, you can easily avoid the cops, and then 5, it's just like, yeah, let's just chuck a helicopter at you, a SWAT van...
Leave the rhinos out. Yep.
Yeah, makes it incredibly difficult to the point that when Chris was talking about it, there's one achievement for getting 1 mil, and then every time he would get close to it, the game would crash. Now, I had no issues up until this point. And then as soon as he mentioned that, I had nothing but game crashes.
Right.
And I was actively trying for this achievement as well. I have done half the game. Most of the stuff I need now is collectathon kind of stuff, and then just getting some cash to do certain upgrades because I've just, like I said, I've just been greedy doing that kind of stuff at the moment. Saying that, however, getting heat level 5, getting a heat level 5 race done, getting rep 50, and getting what was the third one? There was something else, yeah. But getting 3 rare achievements pop in unison. Fuck, there is no better feeling.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last game where I've just like I pulled off basically a mad skills kind of combo, banked 3 achievements at once, and been like, all right, yep, all right, give me all the rare pops. That's fine. Like, it doesn't happen.
No, right, yeah. It's mostly it's more planned out. It's sort of backloaded.
Yeah.
But no, I mean, like, I'm really glad that you guys are kind of doing these more competitions and getting back to stuff like this, because it sounds like a really, really good time.
I was asking James Chapters about it, and he's just like, oh yeah, I'm just putting on pause for like a month. And I'm like, why? Just like, he's like, oh no, I've just, over for a little bit. I'm just like, so what? You and Ethan get really into it, and then you just call it quits. But
he was tired of Ethan beating him all the time, I guess.
Yeah, that kind of doesn't.
No, he won Hot Pursuit. Like
he did. Yeah.
Ethan still needs to complete it. Hopefully he gets it done this weekend. But yeah, I've really enjoyed going back for the Need for Speed games. Heat's just that open sandbox kind of thing. The acting is awful.
Of course.
But it is what it is. And then they force you to watch a cutscene at the very end. It's just like, all right, cool. So we stopped an illegal car smuggling ring or something.
And then you just like skip.
And just like, all right, cool. It won't let me skip. I'm going to go and make myself a coffee.
Yeah.
Fair.
But yeah, $9.50 for the week.
Oh, it's not bad. Charlotte?
I'm super easy. I've literally...
That's what she said.
I mean, in general, I am, but yeah, whatever. So I have been working on a grand total of 6 games. It's basically the same as what I've been doing last week. I haven't really changed it. Oh, no, wait. I did add a 7th game. See, I forget because I'm like, start of the month, I'm straight on to June. And in June, I am doing a wee little challenge myself. So it's kind of on the back of Back to Your Backlog. Also kind of on the
fact that your boyfriend's a dick.
Mildly. A little bit of ahas mixed in there. So I have decided I'm going for an S rank. I want to do only backlog games for the month of June, and I am not starting any new games. I will only complete and play games I have already started. 1, I want to get my percentage up for completions, because I do still want to try and get to 80%. That's a challenge for me this year. I want to get to 80% before the end of the year. 2, I have a lot of games that I've started and haven't finished. So there's a lot in there that I could just go and I just need to finish them, basically. There's like a couple of achievements left on a few of them, and I'm just like, I just put them down because I'm not really enjoying this at the moment, so I'm going to go play something else. And 3, my boyfriend decided he was going to rank everybody in AHA recently, which I found highly entertaining. I don't know if anyone else did.
I got a C+.
Much.
So.
You did get a C+. I did not get a D. I got an E, which according to J-Key is not an actual ranking, but he's not the one that created it. But yeah, you can get ranked on the end of the month, at the end of the month, as to how many games you've completed versus how many you've started. Dio will quite gladly rank you in AHA. Which is kind of hilarious because he only gave himself a C. So
he's a fair marker. He marks. Yeah, he does
have
a marking schedule that he goes through.
Yeah. He has a very strict track. He's got this. So I just want to make him proud and do only backlog. And saying that, I did start a new game with him. So we have date night And we did start Halo, but the lag was awful, and I'm waiting until I have a decent internet connection before we even attempt it again. And normally we would just watch anime, but we have actually just started Crackdown 3. So that we're doing the co-op together and we're going through the campaign. It's interesting. He probably has different things to say about it than I do. Again, I'm not good at jumping. I'm not good at platforming. There are propaganda towers that you have to platform and jump. There's a lot of jumping involved, and in general, this game has a lot of jumping involved in it. I did not know this before we started this game, and Dio was like, "Oh, you'll be fine."
Of the Crackdowns, it actually has the most jumping. Actually, come to think of it,
yeah. So if anyone's been in parties with us in the last week, and even if I'm not there, he's told the story to people apparently.
I've heard it.
I'm aware that you've heard it. I know that Mike's also heard it while I've not been there too. So, he was, for lack of a better word, fucking around while I was trying to jump this tower and spent like half an hour jumping this tower. And then he got his launch pad. And hilariously put it down on the ground, and guess who landed on it when she fell? And then he decided it would be highly entertaining to just put the launch pad places. That was quite funny. What wasn't funny was when I got up to the point where I was like, okay, right, I've got this, I'm good. And he pushed me off the side of the platform. Accidentally, I'll give him that. It was accidental. It was. But that was like, oh, buddy, oh, you better pray, because I spent a while trying to climb that tower. The next thing I'm going to try and do, which I'm going to investigate, is actually trying to see if I can remap my left stick, because what's actually happening for me is that every time I try to jump, I'm accidentally dashing when I don't want to dash, and I'm like, but I'm not trying to dash. So I'm either, and I'm trying to be softer on the stick as well, but I'm really like, apparently I press it in. So I'm going to try and look into seeing if it's a possibility of me remapping the left stick. I'm not sure if that's actually something I can do yet. We'll see. Aside from starting that one, I completed Yes Your Grace.
Great game.
It's a game.
Amazing game.
Okay, it looks pretty. I like the look of it. Sorry. The gameplay is decent enough. I struggle with the fact that you have to do 2 playthroughs, and there's not that much difference between the playthroughs. That irritated me a little bit. The second thing is that I am going through a mental health assessment, and I am going through the process of trying to get a diagnosis for certain things. And for me, I had to talk to Matt about it afterwards, and I was like, you know what the issue is that I'm reading this guide, and it's really detailed and really put together guide, but I'm missing a whole bunch of stuff because I'm not reading it fully, because I'm just struggling to read it. And that was my biggest issue, was that I would try to read the sections that I was working on, and then even tried to go on to the next bit, and I'd just skip past something, and I'd miss something for that week, and then I'd be like, oh my god, I have to replay this week. And then I'd realize like 4 weeks down the track that I've missed something back at like week 5 or something like that. And then I'd be like, okay, I'll go and try and use the save, and then the saves were all messed up and they weren't saving. There were certain things that I just wish could have been different.
Yeah. And
it would have made it more enjoyable. I don't fault the game. I think it would be great for some people. I just didn't gel with it. Yeah.
I mean, I think I might even go as far to say I will fault the game for kind of almost being too punishing for you to truly play it organically. Because all three of them, and Cameron, I'm assuming you used the guide to get all the achievements.
I used the Neomaster guide.
Right, and we all did, right? Could you imagine trying to muddle your way through that game without any help whatsoever? And you get to like you get to a certain week.
How would
you're
you
like,
even get all of those achievements
you're like,
if you
well,
didn't
I'm
have that
out of
guide?
provisions, or I've pissed off people, and I'm gonna have to go back 5 weeks and replay the whole fucking thing and try and
Yeah.
figure out where I was.
I mean, yeah.
And
Like,
that
okay.
was what I went
wrong.
through.
Exactly. And I understand that is the appeal for some people, right? Some people want to design the perfect system or come up with a perfect way of doing something. But having to replay content that is okay, gameplay that is okay. Again, there's nothing super engaging about the game itself, right? It's all about the narrative and the set dressing.
It's a story.
It's a story, right? But
I lost the story because of how much I struggled with the gameplay.
And I think the interactivity.
I wanted to love it.
Yeah, the interactivity is actually the worst part of that game, unfortunately. In a way that like it would have been like sometimes I feel like it would have been better if it was a visual novel.
Yeah.
I'm conflicted. Like I think it could be serviceable as a visual novel, but I think if you take that gameplay aspect away from it, it faults the game rather than.
It's a hard line to go.
I think
it punish you that much and let you go back a little bit and be like, okay, so even if they had a way of doing it, so they're like, oh, I know you ran out of supplies. Here's an option to go back to where you fucked up, right? And play through it again. Even if they'd had something like that, or not even like a chapter select, but being able to go back to a specific week because the saves were awful. So this is the one thing that really so
I was going to quickly say checkpointing the system, like I 100% agree with that. But like in terms of story, in terms of the gameplay aspect itself, and that I think is completely fine. I think it comes down to how we are as gamers.
Oh, 100%, yeah.
More
and
so than it does.
I had a different experience because I have a different way of running through a game, and but it really bugged me that I had to the only way for me to even get through that game was to use the guide. And the guide, I wish I'd actually played it with a visual guide. I didn't even think to do that because everyone was like, "Oh, the Neo Seeker guide's great. We ran through it and it was no problems, and I did it really quickly." It wasn't great for me because I just couldn't do the two at the same time, and I missed so much.
And that's kind of what I'm saying, right? Is that like if you need a guide to get through a game to make it playable, is that a good game?
But
I don't have the answer, right? Because again, I don't.
You can play it without the guide.
That's what I'm saying. You can play it without the guide. We just play with the guide because as achievement hunters, that is we prefer the A to B path.
Also, I played it without the guide on the second run, and I still had to go back and refer to the guide because I fucked up again.
Yeah, that's
three times trying to do it without the guide.
Even if I wasn't an achievement hunter, I just wanted to see, because again, that game I'm just there for the story, which I'm sure you agree with, Cameron. Like the story is
the story is amazing.
Right, I think it's good. I don't think it's amazing. But,
okay. Okay. Taking that back there, this story resonates with me because of every personal. During that time period in my life.
I agree. Yeah, I get. But
and I see why you connected with it so much. It makes more sense now that I've played through the whole story. I understand why you connected with it. For me, it wasn't something that connected with me all my life. So I struggled with it a bit more.
And I'm the same way. I thought it was an interesting story, and I like the narrative, but. Yeah.
I'm going to caveat this to all the listeners and all that. I'm going to give a fair 15-second warning. Because I don't think we're going to end up doing spoiler cast. Yeah. This is spoilers, yeah? I've talked about this game immensely enough that
it's off Game Pass. If they've missed
I think we're good now. If they haven't, up to them.
So, I'm gonna try and do this without tearing up. But essentially, the reason why this game resonates with me so fucking much is I fought for my daughter to see my daughter for 6 months, yeah? And that was one of the hardest points in my life. There is a moment in the middle of this game where essentially the story leads up to you making the hard choice as a king to send your daughter away to be with this arsehole prince because you need his army to protect your kingdom.
Yeah, you're essentially selling off your daughter.
Yeah. You're selling off your daughter you're making the hard decision to sell off, one of your kids for the livelihoods of everybody else in the kingdom.
Yeah.
Including your own family.
Including your own family.
The rest of your family as well. Yeah.
And, to me as a subplot, it kind of I felt like I was trying to justify it to myself. as the king is.
And you have no choice.
You have no choice.
That's part of the story.
Yeah.
You cannot choose against that at all.
I would say the second half of the game, like the choices split off into different narratives. It's a multiple ending kind of game. But in terms of like that middle point there, the mid of this game is essentially you going through the stages of like this prince that she is engaged to is a fucking arsehole. I felt pure anger to this guy. Yeah.
I mean, like it starts off in a kind of way where you're like, okay, well, you know, like this kind of is a marriage that makes sense. They're like they're neighboring kingdoms. He seems like an okay guy. You have a good alliance with the current king.
Oh yeah, he seems fine at the start. At the start.
And then it all goes to shit.
It goes all to shit to the point of, I'm trying to think what the cat's name is because it's been a while. Can you remember Dusty? So Dusty gets skinned.
Yeah, and sent as a scarf to the king, your character that you're playing.
And
then you try to give it to your youngest daughter who loves this cat and didn't want the cat to go.
Yeah.
And then you realize what it is, and you're like, "Whoa, what the fuck?" And then
like, and it places those seeds. It's one of those stories that,
and you just start.
You
seeing
don't realize
the hints that this prince is actually insane.
Yeah.
But like, I knew what was coming.
Yeah. So there's
one because of spoilers, but also because you could tell what was coming.
Yeah.
You just knew what was coming, and
everything
then the
just
final letter from the daughter, and you're just like, "Holy shit!"
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
and like,
you go, but yeah.
But yeah, exactly. Like, and like, it's a really compelling narrative, and like that is the driving force of the game. Because if you took that out, it would just be you sitting on a throne making sort of odd decisions to balance meters to make sure you don't run out of provisions and stuff, right?
And like, I still retained a lot of the story for because I played it so many bloody times. But like, it was for me, it was just that the game took me out of it, and I then was like, okay, because especially like, okay, so the first run through I did, the first final first run through, I got almost to the end, Cameron. I got almost to the end.
Yes, this is Yes, Your Grace.
Yeah. Yes, Your Grace. I got to the final week 50, and I was on night 1, and I made one mistake, and I was like, okay, it's fine. I'll do the same thing I've been doing before. Fine. I will close the game and reopen it, and it'll take me back to that night. Cool. No problems. Easy. It didn't.
I will 100% agree.
It crashed. It crashed to the point where I couldn't open that save. The only thing I could do was close the game, load the last save that was in there, which was week 42. So I had to run through 8 weeks again, and I was just like, "Are you kidding me?"
Like I said before, though, I 100% agree with you. The game needs a better checkpointing system, or like a reverse this week's decisions,
reverse the week, or just go back a day,
like
or
step
something.
back kind of situation,
or just put it in an easy or a passive mode where you don't have the meters and you just make the decisions and experience the story without having to actually.
Yeah, see that I would have loved that if I could just go through the story. Just the story as a separate run through, I would have enjoyed that so much more.
Yeah.
And I would have taken so much more out of it. Yeah.
See, to me, all right, several caveats. To me, I did use the Neo Seeker guide. I didn't have an issue with the guide, but I can...
Neither.
It's going to come down to the situation, like what kind of stimuli works best for you. Do you like listening to audio? Do you like reading a guide? Do you like watching a video while you play? Can you concentrate with different sources, kind of thing? Like, are you streaming at the same time?
Yeah. Like, see, for me, I just want to play the game. Like, this is why I'm having so much fun with Mike playing Nobody Saves the World. And she's the same as me. Yeah. We actually prefer to just play it and not think about the guides, not think about the achievements, just run through the game and do whatever the fuck we want without having to, like, read a guide at the same time. We're having so much more fun with that than if I was sitting there, we were researching and looking at the guide at the same time that we were playing. That would just ruin it for both of us, I think.
And I think there's multiple levels of that, right? Because you have like the achievement guide stuff where we're sitting there being like, okay, I don't want to miss this, but you could technically play the game on your own, right? Yeah. Like like I'll talk about it now because I don't really have much to talk about this week. But I've been playing a lot more Alan Wake. I finished my first playthrough of it, and I'm doing the Nightmare run through at the moment, about halfway through. Really, really great game. Remedy. I'm starting to remember why it was so highly regarded.
I want to quickly add to this too, because I forgot to mention in the stories this week, it actually hasn't made a profit back yet in terms of publication, which is incredible to me, because like it is such an amazing game and people should be going out and playing it.
Yeah, it's a fantastic game. And playing the remaster is just reminding me all of that. I was a bit iffy going into it. I talked about it the other week, but it's fantastic.
I hope people pick it up when before Alan Wake 2 comes out, just to re-experience the story.
Absolutely. And I think that like that's the thing where it's like you could play through that game and just not use a guide, because the game's well signposted. It's a narrative game from A to B. There's a bit of exploring you can do, and there's a lot, but there are a lot of collectibles. You know, there's over 100 manuscripts. There's 100 coffee thermoses. There's like 10 TV shows and 10 radio shows to listen to, and then there's all the kind of weapon drops. There's like 30 caches of weapons to find. Like there's a shitload. If you don't have a guide, you're going to miss all kinds of shit. So as an achievement hunter, I'm using a like step-by-step walkthrough, because it's just like I don't have time to run through it all again. And like that's helpful for me on Nightmare, because I know where all the stuff is. Yeah. But I could play that game on my own and just say, yeah, no, it's fine. I'll just experience it and go back for the other stuff later. Yes, Your Grace, I feel like everyone I've ever talked to has used that guide to play that game. I have not talked to a single
everybody.
person.
As a caveat to that too, I was the first person to play it in the community, and I was the one that used that guide. And everybody after me asked, what resources did you use?
And that's the whole reason why we're using it.
It is 100% the achievement way, hunter way of doing stuff. Of we rely on each other's resources to get us through games and complete games.
Yeah,
it's what a good community does.
But I think my point is that I haven't met anyone who was, I don't need the guide, don't worry about it, I'll figure it out, right? Everyone who's gone into that game has maybe the guide. Everyone's looked at it and gone, okay, well, actually, there's a lot of decisions in here that could really fuck me over if I don't. You know, in week 5, I might make a decision that'll screw me over in week 10.
There's actually really small decisions that fuck you up too. You can make one decision based on like gold or supplies, and you end up running out by like 5 weeks later. And I'm like, that was very punishing.
And like I understand having that in there, because obviously if it was just narrative, like there's the decisions don't have any weight. But I feel like the game is just way too punishing. It really could have used like a difficulty slider or something, you know.
Or have ways to recoup. Like it didn't really feel like there was much. Like once you'd made a bad decision, there wasn't really much that you could do about it, right? So it just kind of felt like it was. Yeah,
I think it's
I got stuck a lot.
I think it's a well-made game with a good concept, but I think the gameplay part of it is probably the weakest part of the whole thing, unfortunately.
It's interesting though, because like I just thought about it just then, and like there's another game that I actually play with a text guide. And like I have missed things from it, but the Plague Tale Innocence, I'm playing that and I'm using the TA guide, and the TA guide is so detailed and has everything in it. But I still miss things from that. But with that one, the biggest difference is it has chapter select, and there's no missables. There's no missables in the whole game, so I can literally go back and find anything that I missed and use the walkthrough and target what I missed and look for it. Like,
but didn't it have missables to start?
Difference. Yeah, they're not there now, though.
They did,
think.
I believe.
But it got fixed.
I don't know
because there used to be a problem with the collectibles.
Yes.
You could screw up the crafting.
Yeah, so that's changed.
Look, I think the crafting one is still a bit iffy because you need to get enough materials, but yeah.
Yeah, you need to get enough materials, but that's still not too hard to do.
So two things I want to add to Yes, Your Grace before we can move on from it. The first one is obviously like that, like I said before, that death scene just...
Yeah.
I can't think of a gameplay moment other than that where I can remember the place I was. I can remember how it made me feel. Like just a mixture of like upset and angry kind of thing.
Yeah. Second, I know talking to Mike, it was the same thing for her. She cried during that whole thing.
And I think like if you are in a situation where you have that kind of family, you have that connection with people, I when bad shit happens in the world, sometimes my mind immediately goes like, what if that happened to Persephone? And or what happened to what if that happened to my parents? You know, and I hate putting other people that are close to me in those kind of mental moments.
Yeah.
But I find it difficult not to sometimes, and I think it's a good conversation of like, I don't want to get all political and all that, but like all the gun shootings over in America, like just that kind of situation. Like I can imagine having a child go to school
Yeah,
and
and be
being
in that
worried about
situation.
whether they would make it through the day, kind of situation.
Yeah.
The second thing I was going to say to it is I remember vividly of scene of it's basically like King David, like cutting the like we how do I explain this? The baby that gets brought to the court, and then
yeah, and he's like, I'll just cut it.
I'll cut it in half. And then
one of the mums is like, yeah, sure, and the other's like, no, you can't do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
King Solomon, yeah.
King Solomon, not King David. There's moments like that in the gameplay that are like really interesting to me. Like just as a discussion piece, yeah. I think Yes Your Grace it needs a sandbox mode with those harder hitting questions.
It needs something, yeah. Like it feels like a really good like first attempt and like a really like this. If like I talked about this when I played the game way back, where on your recommendation, right? And I was like, it feels like there should be some more gameplay in there in terms of like areas you go or things that you see or locations you go to. And I understand why they didn't, right? It's a small indie dev. Like from a technical, I understand it, right? But yeah, I mean,
if I had a sandbox mode though of like, you know, give me the weak kind of situation in a sandbox mode, yeah. See how far I can get on without like the story aspects of it. But give me hard moral, ethical questions.
Yeah, like swap it out and have two different modes. Like have a story mode and then have this other one where you can just do whatever the hell you want and just see how far you can get with it, right? But not have it as punishing and as rigid as it was. I think for me, it was too structured and too rigid. And I struggled with that because I was making too many small mistakes that were then impacting me later on down the track, and I'm not good with those strategy games, so that's I think why I struggled with it so much.
It's counterintuitive.
I liked the story. I had no issue with the story, right? Yeah, story and the artwork and like the music and the sound was really good. Yeah,
it's counterintuitive to have a game that's predicated on choice to have only having one right choice, basically.
Yeah. And you have to basically do the specific choice, or you're not going to end in the same situation. Yeah.
Call to action for the general community, like anybody that listens to this, I want some game suggestions from you that deal really well with moral ethics, ethical questions like that. Because that was the best part of the game for me. Like,
agreed.
Yeah.
Making like, you know, as a first playthrough of this without using a guide, having that kind of situations like, all right, what is the actual best decision here? I love games that essentially lead to discussion points like this. Essentially, like, what is a good moral choice? Because like, comparing our moral compass to other people, like learning insights through other people's life experiences, that kind of stuff. Like, I take great interest in that. And I think that's why I hugely resonate with Yes Your Grace too. In terms of, like, certain decisions, it's such a good discussion starter. And I love games that are discussion starters.
Yeah, and I mean, like, look at this. We've had like a massive conversation about it, which is kind of cool, and like of different things. But there was so much in there that I could probably talk about. I'm just like, yeah.
And this is like a small indie game.
Yeah, and like for an indie dev, like this is amazing. Don't get me wrong. For me, it just took so much out of it that I ended up being like, I just really don't want to play this game. And I hated that. I hated that it made me feel like that because I wanted to love it because I knew you loved it so much. And like, I really just struggled with it.
I think when we all eventually get around to playing Mind Scanners, which is their sequel, not their direct sequel, but their like next game.
Like a
spiritual success
game.
Like having that discussion around like how we perceive mental health and that as well. Will be a really interesting
I would like
point.
that. That'll be more interesting to me, I think. Yeah.
Anyway, is there anything else you want to touch on, Charlotte, that you've been playing?
No, I'm good.
Long discussion, but that was worth it. We saved us up the spoiler cast.
It's fine.
And you're at 900 for this week.
Oh, thanks.
And so I played Forza Horizon 5. Again, I talked about it last week, but this game has had the quickest turnaround of my opinion ever in a video game. I went from absolutely loving everything about this game to absolutely despising its systems.
Well, you're wrong.
And it's no, like the game itself is great. Like in terms of like how it plays and like what it looks like and like how it's structured, fantastic. Everything that's wrong about this game is the seasonal bullshit around
live service.
Yeah,
100% live service and seasons.
Yeah, the live service stuff is just like, okay, well, so for those who don't know, there's one achievement in the game for doing every event in a sort of series, which is 4 seasons, so 4 weeks. I had one of my challenges glitch on me in the first week, which means that I now need to wait a month until I can try that achievement again. So yeah, I'm just like, well, I'm just not going to play it. Like I'm super fucking done with it. And it wasn't like a hard challenge. It was a super easy one that just fucked on me. So yeah, I'm really, really disappointed. And it's really, really soured my experience with the rest of the game, because I love that game. Like I love driving around and having a good time. And again, I can bump up the difficulty a little bit now that I've gotten more used to it and I'm getting more into it. But this has just put a big red stop sign right in front of all of my enjoyment, unfortunately.
My question is, after you eventually finish this, will you do 4 or 3 or?
I mean, my main worries about those is the servers going down or stuff becoming unavailable, you know?
I think 3 you'd be fine with. 4, the only trouble would be like maybe trying to find matches in Eliminator, but it might
maybe.
actually
I mean, I'll consider it. I probably won't go back as far as 2, right?
But, don't do 2. I will tell you now, do not do 2.
I might go back and do 3 or 4. Who knows? We'll see. I'm not like in any rush. The good thing about those is that all the DLC is out. They're done with them, and I'm pretty, sure that that's good.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
like I really want to play more of this game. Like I've still got a few more achievements to go, but I'm also in the back of my mind, like I know they're going to release a shitload of DLC for this, so I'm trying not to. I'm like I'll just come back to it when there's more to play. And so I'm not stressing about it too much. I know I did say I would finish it, and I will at some stage.
Yeah.
The thing
but there's no rush to finish it.
Yeah. The thing I'm really looking forward to, and I'll give you examples at the moment. Hot Wheels is coming out with DLC, which is going to involve Looney Tunes,
right?
Of all stuff. I'm really curious to see what the fun quotation marks like Lego or Hot Wheels or whatever it could be gets added to Forza Horizon 5, because we'll actually be able to hopefully play together now.
Yeah.
And do some multiplayer stuff.
Yeah, that'd be great. So yeah, like again, like I'm a very much of 2 minds about that game, unfortunately. I also got the last really grindy achievement for Guardians of Middle-earth, which has been my big backlog project for several weeks. So I got my 100 wins done. I am down to 1 final achievement.
Is that the one we were talking about last week?
Yeah.
Yeah, the one I need to damage every hero or every Guardian, and the AI doesn't change them, so I need to match up with someone. And I actually did some poking around, asking some questions to people, and figured out that the game seems to have region-based matchmaking. So I've been asking a lot of people to help me. And they've been more than willing to, but they haven't been able to match up with me. So my only real option is to try and either find someone here in New Zealand who has the game and can help me and has a 360.
And a 360,
or I double box it, which I did try to do and nearly electrocute myself by trying to. Yeah, so I was
mildly interesting to have the Discord call just go blank and vanish.
Can I just say too, the timing of woohoo, well done, Matt, to the comment about electrocuting yourself.
Yeah. Pretty funny.
So so basically what I have a Japanese 360. And I had an adapter where I was trying to see if the adapter would work with what I had, right? It turns out, again, cheap adapter, not a good idea. No. I was worried that I'd fried everything, but I just stripped the breaker, flipped it back on, everything was fine. Soundbar, computer, everything's fine. But yeah, so that's kind of a no-go at the moment. So I'm trying to see if I can maybe borrow a 360 from someone, or see if I can find someone local who can help me out with this achievement. There's a little bit involved, but I would be so glad to be done with this game. Holy shit. But yeah, that's kind of been my big project. That's been my thing that I'm working on after I earn an achievement for my achievement streak, which is what I sung Song of the Week about. Also finished up Evil Within 2 on PC. Got that last achievement. That was good. That game's great. It's a fantastic game. It does help that you have, cheats to make sure you're invincible or one-hit kills if you want them. But a really, really cool game. And I like it a lot more than the first one.
It'd be really good when they release Ghostwire Tokyo.
Yeah, I'll be looking forward to. I mean, I know the reviews have been pretty middling, but it sounds like a kind of relatively laid-back game.
Yeah.
And then my backlog game that I've been working on at the moment is Lego Star Wars Complete Collection. I complained about it a few weeks ago about having to do 4 playthroughs. Decided I'm going to bite the bullet. I'm working on playthrough 3 at the moment. Once I get that done, they should get me an achievement, and they'll do playthrough 4, and then hopefully I'll be done with it. And then I might do Lego Pirates of the Caribbean. But I am doing the same thing as Char. I'm going to try not to start any games this month. The only exception I'm going to make is if there's something leaving Game Pass in the final 2 weeks of the month that I need to do, then I'll do that. But otherwise, I want to try and have a 0 on my game started and maybe a 10 on my games completed. We'll see how it goes.
I'm going to attempt the same thing, but it really depends what hits Game Pass in the second half of the month. If there's something that's like, wow, I need to try this, I'm going to try it.
It's annoying because I have Danganronpa sitting there that I really wanted to start, but it's fine.
I got Floppy Nights that came out last week, and I'm just like, I really want to play it because it's so similar to Sigil.
Well, I mean, everyone keeps talking about it. I'm like, oh, Fallen Order, but I'm not touching it.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be the one out of all three of us. You will see at the end of the month, I will have no games started.
I mean, if I can make it with no game started for the whole month, I will be very surprised. But
Me too.
I'm going to tempt my hardest to try and get as many of that 19 game list done.
We'll see how we go. This is like mini hog challenge.
Yeah, we'll
0 games started for the month of June.
When I get up to Slay the Spire, that's going to take a few hundred hours. So
I was going to say that'll keep you nice and busy.
That'll be fun though. At least it will be really enjoyable.
But so that's all I've been playing. So it's not a lot. So I'm doing like 1 achievement in Alan Wake Remastered each day if I need for the streak, and just kind of working on a couple of things here and there. The streak stuff is really fucking killing me, I gotta say, because it's negatively impacting the way I play games because I have to plan ahead for all my games, and also
you can't stop at any point.
She says that as the person who instigated this challenge.
I mean, I know I can.
Yeah, right, exactly. So that's the thing is, they were like, I could have finished Alan Wake this week if I wanted to, right? I'm halfway through my nightmare playthrough. I could just push through and do it, but I'm like, I probably should space out the achievements in case I need
painting
them.
yourself into a corner though. No
It's
new
bad.
games to start, and
oh yeah, trust me, that's exact. I'm
in a better position than Matt is.
Oh yeah, but still,
I'm in a shit position. So we
'Cause
will.
I have definitely got some games in there that I can reasonably easily get achievements for, set them up to get achievements for. So I'm in a really good position.
So Matt, why didn't you think in hindsight I should have started 2 games on the last day of May to save yourself?
Because we did not think that we're going to do no games for June, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I've only decided that in the 1st of June.
Same.
To do that.
That was the same thing. Is that?
I should do the arsehole thing and just start 200 games in my backlog.
I mean, then you'd be fine then.
Okay, that would be fucking hilarious. Imagine.
It's me though. It's not surprising in the least.
Reaction.
So Simone and chat just basically says just to stop, and depends if Charlotte's a bad winner. She's a bad winner, but I'm also a terrible fucking loser.
Bad winner. I'm humble. Thank you very much.
Hey, very, very humble of you to say so. Modest as well.
Fair.
Wow.
Yeah, again, I think I'm getting towards the end of what I'm going to do for the streak. I'm over 300 days now, so I'm really pushing it. And the streak was completely inadvertently started just because of all the baby games I was playing. Like I didn't plan for it at all, so it was actually completely by accident. So, but yeah, we'll and you see, Alison puts in chat. Yeah, you think he wouldn't be after all this time practicing? Yeah, appreciate.
Well,
that.
Okay, I did say 365 days, buddy.
Yeah, I think that's what it's going to be. I'm going to try and get to a year and just call it, and just we'll see how it goes because it is actually negatively impacting the way I play games, unfortunately. But I have painted myself into a bit of a corner. But necessity is the mother of all invention, right? And I think that it's going to really force me to go back and play some of this backlog that I've been kind of hemming and hawing about. I mean, shit. Lego Star Wars is the perfect example of that. I've had that sitting there for years at like 75%, and now I'm at like 90% on it. So I will get it done.
Yeah.
And it'll be a good feeling. Anyway, that's me for the week. I'm only at like 750 points though, and that probably won't change.
I think the next few weeks are going to be like small points, but get some games done.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Charlotte, do you want to go through leaderboards?
Yes, let me just open it because I closed it on the laptop. Easy. Okay, so I do actually still remember who was in our top 3. But the leaderboard to this week, we have in 3rd place, the Natolinator in 7,770 gamer score. In 2nd place, Mephisto for the win with 8,125. And in 1st place, we have Red with 10,950. And then we have completion shoutouts. So we have Red with WWE 2K22, Shadowed Sly with Outlast, Slender the Arrival. We have Admiral Awesome, Metal Gear Solid 5, the 360 version and the 1 version, which he was doing sort of in a wee bit of an honor towards Big Nev as well. We've previously talked about that. Baron von Neumann finished Yakuza Like a Dragon and Minecraft Dungeons. Chapter finished Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. Hack and Pone finished Carrion. Keo finished Operation Zeta, which is our friend of the podcast Ben's game that he came and had a chat to us about, which is really cool.
Tagged Ben in that too.
Yay, cool, yeah. Kruger with Toy Soldiers HD, the Natolinator with Need for Speed Heat and Mini Golf Adventure. Rapture had Baby Games and Yes Your Grace, which he wrote down as a baby game, interestingly. So Neon Bleeder had Far Cry 4, and my boyfriend Dio had Ori and the Will of the Wisps completed. Yes.
It's a good list.
Very
Will of the Wisp especially is a good one.
Yeah.
I need to do Ori games later in the year.
Well, I have Blind Forest in my backlog, so.
Yeah. But I'm trying to work on the games that people selected for me.
Yeah.
Because I think the whole point for me doing backlog is experiencing games that I are putting myself up experience, especially like Banjo-Tooie.
Yeah.
All right. In terms of Patreon, which one's first? Patreon members. So we have Natalator, Firehawk, Mad Lefty, G Spaceman, Admiral Awesome, Odrin, Keo, Happy Moogles, Kung Fu Skills, Hack and Pone, Cavalier 07, Odd May Clown, Mark B, and McLovin Legend. Without you, we would not be able to run the podcast. Thank you. Appreciate all your support. And then because, it is the first week of the month, we will be drawing the Patreon winner, which is... I was going to say out of... where's the games list? Anyway.
That was way too slow.
Yeah, the game for the month is Best Month Ever, which has one unattainable achievement for unlocking all achievements, which, as confirmed by Vudix, is getting fixed. It is on our roadmap. So no issues there. Our winner was Mark B. Congratulations.
Yeah, congratulations, Mark.
Hit me up for a code. I'm gonna let the listeners do the work from now on because I keep on messaging them straight after the podcast, being like, "Have you heard the latest podcast now?" And they're like, "No, why?"
It's like no reason. I'm just checking.
I'm
knocking
wait
on
4
doors.
weeks and get a message. It's like I'm finally caught up.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you guys can come to me. Or at least just skip to the end of every week and just find out if you want. Whatever.
Yeah, it's right at the end.
It still helps the viewership.
Yeah.
And so we'll have a new contest for you guys next week with some new games that Cameron's...
Yeah, I picked the list
challenge.
before the episode. So we will have Unexplored 2, The Wayfarer's Legacy, which actually, it's like an exploration roguelike. Looks really cool.
Oh.
If it's the one I'm thinking of, it's like if you die in one character... if you die with one character, it kind of has that... What was that strategy game that was Games of Gold ages ago, where if you die, your character's lineage, your children carry on the lineage?
Oh, Children of Mortar?
No, it wasn't Children of Mortar.
No, I know Rogue Legacy has that as well. There's a few games like that.
Yeah, okay. Well, yeah, same thing, whereas in the New Explorer will carry out and kind of progress further kind of situation. Looks pretty cool. Soldiers, which is a pixel art kind of darling. Cow the Kangaroo, which is a kangaroo game by Swedish developers.
All right.
It's very Spyro kind of looking game.
Okay. Cool.
Very cool. And Moolander, which looks fucking totally nuts, and I'm so for it.
Cool. Sounds good.
But yeah, those are the games picked for the next month. I will make a post over the weekend sometime when I am not busy. But yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so you can vote on those if you're a patron.
Yep.
So you can join us. Patreon.com/HallOfGamers is the place. We also do merch and other bits and content, depending on what tier you subscribe at. As we said, we really appreciate it. We also do another show called Lights, Camera, and Action, which is a sub podcast that we do about movies. At the moment, we do video game movies and we rank them and talk about them.
Sorry, what podcast?
A sub podcast.
Yeah, a sub pod. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah, a subscription podcast. They have to pay us more money for that.
Absolutely. Yeah, we tie them down and we make them listen to the podcast.
Yeah.
Anyway.
A supplemental podcast then. How about
yes.
Cool. There we go.
All
right. Where we talk about video game movies and we rank them. And so we just put out an episode for Blood Rain and we just wrapped up an episode for the new Sonic movie, which I've just finished editing. And that'll be up later this month, probably next week sometime. I highly recommend it. It was a really, really good discussion. And it's nice to actually watch a movie we enjoyed for a change.
Yeah.
And also got me another chance to use an amazing Sonic Boom clip in the middle of it. Because, oh, God, that show is so way funnier.
So good.
Way funnier than there's any right to be.
I'm so waiting for the Knuckles show to come out.
Yeah, right. Yeah, exactly. I'm hoping that it has more of that. Anyway, what else have we got? The Discord. Oh, well, actually, I probably should talk about the word challenge, I suppose. So the word challenge, for those who don't know, it's a challenge where I pick a game. I set up a bot in one of our Discord channels, and you have to guess what the game is. And if you guess it, you win $20. Simple as that. I give a new clue away every week. And someone guessed it this week. So someone finally got it.
And they've already been paid.
They've already been paid. It's all taken care of, which, again, almost never used to happen. Happy Moogles, congratulations.
He's real good. He got it so quick.
I was really surprised, actually. There was a few couple of close guesses in there. I think I'm trying to find where it was. I think Keo had one that was I think he chose like 007 Legends, and I was like, oh, someone's going to get it. Someone's going to get it. But no, so the clues were that it was part of a series. It had one or more discontinued achievements, and the game had 3 or more games. The series had 3 or more games in it. And Happy Moogles guessed GoldenEye 007 Reloaded, which is an old 360 game.
Yep.
Based on the original GoldenEye game. They're not a bad game. All the online stuff's discontinued. But congratulations, Moogles. You got your $20. Hope you spend it all in one place because that's what you do with it.
I opened the Trello and I thought the clue was Happy Moogles, and I was like, what? I was so confused.
Yeah, no, the clue is not Happy Moogles.
No, the winner was Happy Moogles. Yeah. We'll come up with a new clue and a new game next week.
Yeah,
so you guys can get in the draw with that.
Cool.
So Discord. If you want to join the Discord, discord.io/hologamers while Matt is sneezing. It's where
thanks for calling that out, Cameron. Really appreciate that. I'm going to have to edit that.
You don't have to edit shit. It's fine.
That's staying in.
You know what?
Whatever.
You know what I've learned this week? I've learned how to use Premiere a bit more. Which is...
It's not that hard.
It's not. It really not.
It's really
I don't know why I was scared off so much.
It's great.
But yeah, discord.io/hologamers. Join us there to discuss, what we've been playing, general boosting, that kind of stuff. We've had quite a few people join lately, which I don't think listen to the podcast, so it's really weird at the same time.
I don't know. I think it's you fucking weirdos from Twitch you're bringing in.
The more merrier.
And I can say that because they're not listening to this. And if they are, thanks for listening.
We appreciate you.
Exactly. Speaking of Twitch, like we said at the top of the show, Hall of Gamers Pod is the place to come hang out with us. Say hi in the chat, ask questions, talk shit, basically.
The best ANZ Xbox podcast that you could be listening to.
With more New Zealand people on the podcast.
That supports their
question askers.
The question askers. That's 100%.
And Simone, yes, no, I don't do the podcast from the couch anymore. I actually have a proper computer set up, and that is Alison in the background that you can kind of see.
Yeah, we're upgrading. We've got upgrades.
That's where all the Patreon money goes. I'm kidding. I paid for it myself.
Yeah.
Stream Deck. Yeah.
You wait till I get some interesting stuff on this.
He's gonna look like he's in a goddamn command center.
Okay. Can we wrap it up? I'm tired.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, we need to get out. We need to watch The Boys. We need to watch Umbrella Academy. What
HallOfGamersPodcast.com at Gmail or gmail.com is the place to email us. Otherwise, at HallOfGamersPod, we're on Twitter. Come say hi.
I have one last question to end the podcast on.
Yes.
Do you have a Swiss cheese plant?
Do we have a Swiss cheese plant? Yes, we do.
Why does fucking everybody own a Swiss cheese plant but me?
Because
I don't own a Swiss cheese plant. What the fuck is a Swiss cheese plant?
It's like the Kmart version of a Montessori.
I missed Game on Cancer meeting one day. I get a photo sent back to me with everybody holding up plants, and I was just like, okay, I feel left out. It's fun.
This is not going to work because I have blurry background on.
I'll
do it after we've been.
Yeah, exactly.
Plant podcast next week.
Yeah, come on the Discord and have a look at all the plant photos. Otherwise, yeah, subscribe to our platforms of choice. Leave us a review. Tell your friends. Word of mouth is always huge for us. We really appreciate all the support. Make sure you write in your questions like Isaac does. We'll answer them next week, probably at the front of the show if people like them. If you want to find Cameron, how is he going to shill this week?
You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, actually, because I found out how to put clips back onto TikTok very easily. It's good. And Twitch. All under Shadowless Edge on Twitter and TikTok. And then Shadowless Edge _ on Twitch and Instagram.
Mate, you should be in social media with remembering your handles like that.
Well, that was bad lag. But yeah, I got a really good deal today on a Stream Deck, and I am going to abuse the absolute fucking hell out of it.
Great. So I look forward to that.
Yep.
Charlotte, what about you?
Yes. So you'll usually find me on Discord. I am the Char with many names, because I have many names. Yep. Otherwise, I'm Charmandosaurus _Rex on Twitch. On Twitter, I am AudreyChar. I'm sometimes go by AudreyChar, depending on where you're finding me. On Xbox, I'm AudreyChar. I have a link tree somewhere. That's me. Don't talk to me.
Have we done the Ting Tings yet for Song of the Wing?
No.
That's not my name.
I'll think about it.
That's not my
And if you want to find me, I'm Neomaster on everything. True Achievements, Xbox, and Discord. I don't know why you'd want to find me. Historically, very antisocial, but I like memes.
Court orders.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I will get restraining orders. All right. Well, that's going to wrap up everything. Thank you to everyone for listening. Thank you to my wonderful hosts for trucking through some real discussions this week. We were planning on doing a short show, but of course that didn't fucking happen because it never does. That's going to wrap us up for episode 40. We will catch you guys next week. See you later.
Bye-bye.